and shit. So I'm just gonna crack the door open a bit and try and make sure that signal's continuous. This little USB plug-in dongle thing does a really good job, but it should be more. I'm just gonna crack the door open a little bit. I know fiber is better, but I'm not gonna make them run a fiber line in my fucking guest room, and like that's way too much. To like, hey, I need you to run a fiber line through your house to the guest room so I can work. It's just rude. It's super rude. But they have fiber. It's fiber running into a router that sends out a Wi-Fi signal. So like I can stream. So right now I'm streaming to Twitch, YouTube, and X, and I'm getting 8,000 kbs. So it's not bad. It's just it's a Wi-Fi signal. It's gonna be a bit goofy. And then Cox is Cox. Cox has a lot of outages. So we just do the best we can here. That's about all we can do. Gorb's opinion. 7-minute ad. God, man, it's just that's so annoying. Like I say, hey, don't play ads. Don't push ads on my Twitch, and they still do it, and they just keep the money. It's like I don't understand why you can't just not molest my viewers' eyes with your fucking ads. Like, it's not a huge thing to ask, you know? Cox's dicks? Yeah, kind of. So we're waiting on Roll Road. I'm trying to figure out a way to get around their thing here. There's one on Space Battles that I might be able to get around on. So yeah, so the guys on Reddit have their questions kind of teed up to go, and I can order them. I can literally answer them in sequence. But if you guys have other questions, either ask them in the Twitch, which it'll so I might miss the questions. If not, there's always Discord. Just ping me, and I guess just ping me, and actually just send me a DM. If you have any QA questions, send me a DM. That way I cannot lose them. Unfortunately, everyone knows how scatterbrained and brain dead I actually am. So if you want to get your question answered, either put it on the Reddit or in a DM to me. That way it cannot be lost. Really doing a password thing real quick. Save. What the fuck are you talking about? Must be 15 characters long. Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There, is that better for you, you fucking prick? 15 characters? Jesus. It's a fanfiction website, not the fucking Fort Knox login credentials. Ridiculous. Okay, let's go to postings. This one. Let's go down to... Please edit this fucking thing. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to get this railroad thing. And the sooner I do it now, the less it'll be a fucking issue. Okay. Save. There we go. Screenshot. Go back to here. I managed to get onto the Space Battles. Space Battles account. Go to images, credentials, link, save, insert the fucking image, you fucking asshole. Come on now, there we go. Submit. There we go. All right, that should help him out a little bit. Anyway, adults only smoke shop. Are you gonna get shot or something? You're gonna run my fade, bro. The smoke shops around here all look like fucking like doctor's offices. It's kind of funny, actually. Professional smoke shops. HGHG. So, those of you who don't know, HGHG or Mercury or Dakota, HG is the character in the Kip Kip kids book. He is Dakota in the kids book. So, I have immortalized my best friend in a kids book about a fucking harpy. You know, it's a... You know, the small things. And the cool thing is that Dakota, HG, had a baby. So he can show his kid a kid's book with him in it. You know, the small things. In Franner, my favorite breakfast food is pancakes. It always will be. That or Johnny cakes, which are corn cakes. I like just pancakes. Yes, Jasmine, me do. Actually, usually Franner does that. Hold on. Follow a hill, invite people, copy, go to the stream. Man, Frander dropping the ball. There we go. There's a Discord link for you. I do like my jacks flappy. All right, Bob Ross. I don't want excuses, Franner. You put your family second to you put your family second to me. Brr. How dare you put your family before me? All right. So, you know, I did start this because the Drop Pod Green Reddit had questions, you know, and I figured it'd be easier because a lot of these questions I like to waffle and like, you know, wag my tongue a bit on these questions, and it's easier to explain myself in a word format than having a hard, you know, hard text. Text is, it's really hard to type out, you know, several paragraphs of text to make things, you know, make sense. It's easier to kind of show my hands and that kind of stuff. So I figured I would do a, you know, kind of a video-esque answering scheme on these. Refresh. Look at this fucking dipshit. Anyway, so let's see here. That's not a question. Do you have a specific figure? This is from Cnan Zeta. Do you have a specific figure for the human population at the time the story takes place, along with what total percentage of the population is serving in the militaries of Earth? So the one thing I try, hey, Bob the Prime, thank you. I try to avoid hard numbers, because hard numbers are basically trip mines and landmines the authors step on. And the times I have put hard numbers on things, people can't even quantify the number. Like when you think about an invasion force, they can wipe out a planet that's millions, if not billions, of people or figures. It's really hard to help folks understand, you know, like what that means. And I don't really like putting hard numbers out there. But I do like to give concepts. I'm a big proponent of concepts and for numbers. Like, for instance, there's enough people on Earth to have a space-bound military, as well as have a colony on other planets and have enough rogue elements to run out and do their own things and inhabit stations. So, like, if I say, oh yeah, there's 3.4 trillion, you know, humans, most folks can't quantify what 3.4 trillion even looks like. Like right now on Earth, total Earth population, right? Right now it's 8.2 billion, right? Can you quantify 8.2 billion? Can you quantify 16 billion? Can you quantify 30 billion, 100 billion? It's an astronomical number, you know? So like it's one of those things where as for a hard number of human population, it's in the billions. That's what easiest way to say it, you know, because right now Earth population right now is 8.2 billion. But like at the same time, like if you really think about it, if they have Earth, a colony planet, permanent stations that they live on, people who like live on their ship for long times a time, you know, people who live on massive cargo ships or warehouse ships, that's going to be anywhere to 30 billion to 50 billion. And that's not even counting people who are living on other planets. It could be anywhere from up to fucking like 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 billion. But even then, that's still quite low compared to other races who have multiple planets. That'd be like a trillion people or so. Like say a race has they have eight or nine planets, right? Depending on the size of the planet, that could be roughly 10 billion people per planet. So that'd be like 80 billion, 90 billion, 100 billion people. Like it's just really hard to find a number that doesn't sound just fucking stupid, saying like, oh yeah, there's 120 billion people. Like it's just a fucking number. You know what I mean? Like that, and when the story takes place in a vignette, a small cut of this hundreds of billions of people, like the arm of the Milky Way this thing is set into could have hundreds of trillions of people in it, but there's no real way to like visually represent 100 trillion people. But like I don't like to work in hard numbers. I will be aloof until my heart explodes because it's just easier that way. I could just say there's a lot and call it a day, because the math is really hard. It's just really hard to make it function the way you want it to. And hard numbers can, like as Astray says, can limit a story. So I like to be vague. I like to have concepts. Like, for me, I would say, it's one of those days. Let's see here. Let's see. I've dropped stream twice. If stream drops a third time, I'll knock off one of the other streamings. Even then, there've been times where I've streamed for 4 hours, no problems. It's an ISP issue. That's what it is. Like on Tuesdays, last Tuesday we streamed for nearly 5 hours, no problems. So it's just ISP being ISP. Sorry, Tori's ready for next commission, doing the Wagigma. But yeah, so I don't know what the issue is. Just we gotta deal with it. We gotta roll with it. So I back ads. Oh my god, it's an ad every time. My god. Let me get the Wagigma sheet tutorial real quick, since we're currently suffering in real time. And well, see, it's very intermittent, because on Tuesday we can stream for 4 to 5 hours, no problems. I start up a fucking stream on Sunday, we're out twice. It's just There's no consistency to it, and there's nothing I can do about it, and that sucks. Like, there's nothing I can do about this, and it just sucks. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing I can do about it. Sniper0625, thank you for a donation through Super Chat. Appreciate that. How much do I need to send you for more M14 and its variants in action? Is there really another variant to the M14? I don't think there is. There's only the M14, the SOCOM, and what else is it for the M14? There's no real like mega super wacky like variants of the M14. Let's see here. I gotta try and find a reference. This is my life every day. Like, this is me working. I gotta juggle 30 different fucking things, and there's issues with one thing, and the other thing has issues, and you gotta bounce back and forth. It's kind of why I have gray beards and all that. But it's been approved. All right, so we've been approved on Royal Road. So now Veil Riders Mark II is on Royal Road now. So I'll start adding more chapters to it. Let's see here. I'm trying to find a good fucking... It's inventory. This is more their vibe. Not really. Furry. More Monster Girl. But this is just an example. I would use the text for further ideas. All right. Never a dull day, folks. Never a dull day. All right. So yeah, so in terms of population, think of it as they could populate Earth, a colony planet, have, you know, over a dozen permanent stations, over a dozen permanent living stations in space, as well as having a giant void navy. So think of it in that direction. As for Mars, Mars is a dead planet. Like, even for what it is, Mars is not a very, you know, if you can skip out to a better planet, why waste resources on Mars? They'll probably mine out. More than likely, the DPG universe has already mined and cored out Mars for iron and steel and nickel and shit than actually living on it. Like, if I were to call a fiat on DPG universe and Mars, they probably mined Mars to shit. Like, why live on it? Just go there, mine it, strip it, make spaceships, and skip off to an actual proper planet. There's no point in living on Mars. Let's see here. Another Zynan question. He's got a few of these. Just to ask a couple of other questions that may have been gnawing at me, do you have an idea of which nations were destroyed by the pact list which was endured? Additionally, I am curious if there are any other significant governments or religions outside the stated ones. The UAA controls North America, EUC controls Europe and Okay, so when it comes to Earth here, this is a huge discussion on the Discord for a while. And I did this in a logical manner. If you are invading Space Force, you gotta make landfall on a planet to take it over and kill it and strip it and do all your fun shit, where would you land on Earth? It wouldn't be here, it wouldn't be here. The biggest concentration of land masses is here. It's right here on Africa, Europe, Eurasia, Russia, Middle East. This is the biggest compact source of landfall you can find. You wouldn't land in North or South America. You would land here. So in the DPG universe, the Packless landed in the African, Sahara, and Eurasian continent. Just boom, whack, because you can't fucking miss. You just land here. So this whole area here around, you know, like Saudi Arabia, the Northern Africa, Southern Asia is a huge fucking wasteland. Because things landed there, boom, ships came down, and the war started. So this entire area is a fucking wasteland of just broken cities and ruins. And from this point here, the Packless expanded because you make landfall in the biggest area of land. You set your foothold, more or less. Your beachhead is going to be, and I do think that for like in an actual realistic source, the beachhead will be the Middle East and South Asia, because that is that's a huge landing point. There's a lot of people there, a lot of resources. You come there, you cut off the world's oil. Like, you think about it, the world's main oil supply is going to be Saudi Arabia and Southeast Asia, Eurasia. This area, this is going to be the main chokehold. So you land here, boom, you come in, you cut off all these resource supplies, and you start expanding outwards and blooming out. So, in terms of places that don't really exist this anymore, this area here does not exist. This is a wasteland of like ruined ships and cities. Their populations got fucking decimated. Like, more or less, survivors from this area push north, west, and then kind of southwest into Africa, because that's just the safest place to go, and there's no really other way to expand out. And then the war started, people were like, shit. And so you had Europe react to it, Russia react to it, China react to it, Australia reacts to it, South Africa reacts to it, because Middle Africa is useless. And then, these guys are coming over and reacting to it as well. While the Packless are expanding over, they have ships. So it's a huge, messy situation. It's why in DPG, Earth nearly failed, because they hit so hard and so fast on major population areas that more or less, again, I don't think using hard numbers, but let's say that in the first onset weeks of the war, more than likely 2 billion people just evaporated like that, because at the same time, the Packless were using stolen materials. They don't make their own things. The Packless, they raid, they take, they steal, and they reuse. So you have, ships being used as bombs. Say the Packless had an old ship, right? They would just send that bitch down like a fucking meteoric bomb, and it would just land in the middle of the city and detonate. So you got millions, if not billions, of people just evaporating in a matter of moments. Very, Operation Britain? Where they brought brought down the space station on Australia. It's like, because you realize that, well, we're gonna strip this planet anyway. We'll use the ship as a weapon, crash it down, boom, you hit major population centers where you have to, and you invade, right? So it's one of those things where in the first couple of weeks, billions of people fucking died. And then it's why they nearly failed. But at the same time, that's the whole like enduring human spirit thing. But yeah, so this area here is a fucking ghost land. And the fun part is that within this big area here, which is huge wasteland and like China's kind of pushed over here. Like, China was kind of big area here, but China's now kind of along the coastline. It's kind of been pushed back, and like Russia's got a big part right here. Africa's kind of a big crescent moon shape. But yeah, Xeon, thank you. Hope she shits herself publicly, yeah. But like, this area here is where people who say you don't want to be in the UAA or the EUC, you live here. You're kind of a rogue element, and here's where all the warlords live. So basically, the EUC and the UAA more or less just depopulate this area when needed. Like, say a warlord gets a bit too big for their britches, they just fucking go blip and remove him. Because currently these guys don't have ships. They're currently like, nothing ever changed here. It's still warlords vying for control, fighting amongst the scraps and finding some tech where they can. But it's kind of like an area where it's just kind of a rogue element, and it's just not worth the fight. Like, when you think about it, when you're in space and you're going in colonies and you're fighting other aliens, you don't really worry about this. You kind of control, contain, and go, whatever. It's kind of because there's no value here. At the current time, there's no real value in this area because you're able to get your oil or your power sources from space. You got graffiti making starlight batteries. You don't need oil anymore. You don't need tree rubber. Like, you can synthesize most things or just ignore it completely. And you can get these things from other planets. So you just kind of ignore it, contain it, and leave it be. No nanners on that Discord invite, invalid or expired invite. Jesus. Brainer, if you can take care of Dawn, that'd be great. Or if another mod can take care of Dawn. And yeah, so the Packless were eating humans. So the Packless they're like Tyranids in a way. But they go from planet to planet just creating more Packless and stealing things and consuming. So if you're a really hungry space race who feeds on flesh of other beings, you're going to land where it's most populous, which is, I mean, North Africa, Saudi Arabia, India, and China. That's a big meat pot there. So I know a lot of folks call me racist for doing it. I'm like, that's just pure logic, friend. You know, it's not racist. That's where a lot of people are. If you want a lot of people and a lot of land mass, you know, these things are going to land here. You know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Question for the QA: do you have a number of races that you plan on stopping at? Not really. It's space. You know, I can go as far as I want to. I got a lot of ideas for certain races, but there's no real like limit. You know, because it's even in a single arm of the Milky Way, that's how many fucking planets? Like I can. Howdy guard, got a question for the stream. What is colony outpost planet that is not human controlled, that is the nearest human space without being inside it? I don't have that map. Like it's just I haven't thought that far ahead to what it is. It'd more likely be Kojin, but like I don't really think that far ahead. If I spent the time to make a star map, I would get no chapters done for months. Like I only have so much time, and if I don't spend my time appropriately, things fall behind. Because if I make a map, and you guys saw what I did the fucking Veil Rider map. If I make a star map, I'll be out of action for months doing that. And then stories cram to a halt, writing crams to a halt. It's just, I just don't want to deal with a star map. I just don't want to do it. It's just, I have so little time to dedicate to things that I want to do and need to do, and the star map's just not one of them. I only made a Veil map because of the TTRPG. It's just not in the cards. I do need to clone myself. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I wish it was possible. So in terms of which nations were destroyed, a lot of them were mostly North African, Mid-Africans, Saudi Arabian, Southeast Asian, Southwest Asian, Northern Eurasian, and some of the Northwest European countries were just decimated because they caught the full brunt and the full landfall of the Packless. There was just nothing they could do about it. As for, you know, other faiths, there are micro faiths, but they're not as populous. It's like being it'd be like being a Buddhist in like Sweden. There's like one of you out of how many. So like they're there and they're more of a curiosity, but they're not as prolific or as confirmed as the Odinic Shield Wall or the Ashen Templars. I'll ask one more. I've been trying to get a sense for the scale of the moose since I first read about it in Chapter 12. I feel like the ship should be a multi-mile long behemoth, given I expect the crew is probably in the tens of thousands after extrapolating on the Wild Hunt 7,000, but what is the scale of the ships in Drop Pod Green? So I did these off a scale of American carriers. American carrier crew size. So like an American carrier right now, and I don't think a lot of folks know this, an American carrier can hold up to 5,000 people. I mean, a normal complement of a carrier's crew is about roughly 3,200. So in terms of crew, again, it's really hard to put numbers on things. Folks don't know certain things. But American carrier, right? An American carrier has a complement of 3,200, and that's carrier long, carrier wide, carrier deep. And then the Wild Hunt has 7,000. So the Wild Hunt is going to be, you know, longer and thicker than a normal U.S. aircraft carrier, the big aircraft carriers. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So like American carrier is a floating city. All right. So think of an American carrier, stretch it out by another maybe like how long is American carrier? American carrier length. So in miles, do it in miles. So in America, so the Nimitz or a Gerald R. Ford is about 0.21 miles. So think of like a mile long, no, just yeah, a mile long ship holds 7,000. I need to get art done of these fucking ships, but again, art is expensive. The guy I use for my art is expensive, and they're all expensive. He's the most affordable, I think. But like getting ship art done is expensive. But I will tell you one thing: is I'll show you the aesthetic, the aesthetic. Let's see, that's gonna be the Nautilus League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So currently, I'm basing the aesthetics of the UAA Space Void Navy off of the Nautilus aesthetic. So all the Void Navy ships are kind of blade-like in nature. They're very long. They're very thick. They present a very thin profile face on, and they have their guns on the side, so they can go put their guns forward. So in my mindset, the human Void Navy presents a very thin front profile, but their guns rotate to face forward, so they can fire at a very thin profile at a target. They don't want to go sideways, obviously, but they're more blade shaped. They're more of this underwater blade type aesthetic. Because when I saw this ship in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I fell in love with it. I love this ship design. It's technically a submarine, but imagine this in space with guns on it and side shields. And then it's one of those things where you know, I love it. So like the Wild Hunt. Well, actually, this is more of the moose, more of the moose's aesthetic. It's just, but the moose is huge. The moose is quite literally a floating city. It's huge. It's thick. It's long, and it's wide. The moose is a capital ship, if you will. The moose is there to help supply, refit, and support all the ships around it. I mean, yeah, all spaceships are subs, but like this, mine are actually more sub-like than most. Stand by. I got a pretty lady texting me. Okay, so, but yeah, the moose. Now I gave you a mental image of the Wild Hunt. It's a mile-long carrier length, carrier depth, but the moose is like this is the Wild Hunt. The moose is so much bigger. The moose has a maul inside of it. The moose has space. Like the moose can bring in destroyers for refit. Like the moose has bays inside of it. The moose has shuttles. The moose has support systems. The moose is a huge fucking ship. And if you guys saw, like, I know someone said like at ISD, the moose is huge. The moose is there to support and offer up the highest amount of damage it can offer for its cannons. Like for instance, how many G's? So I say in the book how they manage that shit. More or less, everything in space is done very slow. You don't want to pull G's in space. That's a whole thing about space combat, you know, and we'll get there. We'll keep that G thing in thought there. Yeah, it's exactly the case. So say you're the Packless, and you're like, well, we got this old ass ship. Like, well, this fucking, it's a missile now. You take the ship, you point it, you put on the engines, and it goes, and it's a bomb. Like, jumping from space, it is a bomb. In OHG, you do take G's in space. If you're doing like a really hard turn, the ship acting against you is the G. Or if you're floating in space within the ship and it does a hard turn, you just smack the fucking bulkhead because you're not being affected by any kind of gravitational force. If a ship does a hard turn and you're just floating and it goes back to the direction, you're just going to smash your shit in the ship. Phallic shaped? No, the ship is this shaped. The moose is shaped like this. It's a gigantic space blade, to say the least. How aggressive is the... Oh, hold on. My belief is that most species have a ship count in the hundreds, with the largest ships being the size of cities and smaller capital ships being multiple times larger than the Nimitz class aircraft carrier. So, believe it or not, that's not how it is. So, again, this is in my story. We're not talking about other fucking stories. This is my story. But in the other factions, they want their ships to be able to land on planets. They want to have a ship be able to make landfall. So the other species want to have the ability to have a larger ship, be able to arrive, come down, make landfall, and then leave. The humans don't. The humans make ships so large they can't get too close to planets. So like all UAA ships and EUC ships are built in space because they're so large. And then the EUC ships and UUA ships, they don't make landfall. They send down shuttles. Human ships are so large and so heavy that they can't enter atmosphere. They have to maintain a distance from atmosphere. That way they won't get sucked down and crash because they're literally that heavy. So to see a human ship would be like if you're in a Ford Fiesta and a monster truck appears out of nowhere. It's just a huge fucking scale difference. Because more or less the UAA and EUC go for a absolute domination of space control. You know, there's air superiority. The humans want space superiority, where they can maintain a cordon of control around a planet and they send shuttles down back and forth. So that's how the humans work in my book series. They don't worry about landfall. They worry about controlling the area around a planet. So they send these huge behemoth space sabers out there to dominate the area around a planet. And then once they have, space superiority, they then send down shuttles that can go back and forth between space. So right now the EUC does use the executive equipment. There's no real point in having this like branch war between the EUC and the UAA. Their goals to be so the lesson learned from the Pactless War was that they must be as unified as possible in their gear set. Imagine being a freedom fighter, you're fighting against the Pactless, humanity might get wiped out, and your Stanag mags don't work in a fucking weapon. Like, God, it'd be a huge fucking issue. So they more or less, the Earth has unified. Despite EUC and UAA, their gear is unified. They all have the exact same gear. Exact same uniforms, they use the same ships. That way there's complete and total universality with all equipment. Because just think about it. If you've already had one near Earth destroying event, you wouldn't keep bickering about, well, I think this is better. You go, okay, those factories still exist. Those factories still exist. From now on, let's just make those things. And that's how it is. That's how it should be. Yeah. So when you think about it, again, I saw this comment. Space superiority, if you control the space around a planet, you control the planet. You can bombard or anything else. There's no going in or out. So instead of being like, well, we'll take this light cruiser, it's like they say a Pois light cruiser. They can enter atmosphere and they can do like drop off things. But if you have a huge human capital ship like the Moose outside a planet, you're going to control the space around a planet. And you just go, okay, well, yeah, it's going nowhere. We have this guy watching Overwatch for these shuttles, and you just shuttle back and forth. All this stuff. It's easy. Yeah, ultimate high ground for sure. Let's see here. What the fuck was I reading? Yeah, anyway, so that's what this little scale is. In this book series, they're more about controlling the void. They're about void supremacy. So if you control the space around a planet, you control the planet. Yes. So it's one of those things where as long as you control a planet, you can more readily set a beachhead and then support that beachhead with, orbital bombardment or B-2 bombers going in, like, space buffs. So it's one of those things where, sure, you can hide on a planet, you can keep doing your thing and have underground factories, but no one's coming to help you. The humans will get you eventually. How massive, thank you for following. How aggressive is the Elder Council with pursuing the culling of White Coffee? Will they ignore a clan living on the fringe of coffee in space? So on the inner planets of Coffin Society, they tried to eradicate all and any. Before they found other races, it was a literal witch hunt for any white fur. But as they came in contact with the Pwa and the Kojin and the Logara, they're like, hey, why are you hunting these white furs down? And to avoid having that, even discussing the subject, they pulled back real hard. So instead of like actively hunting the white furs, they instead tried to, kind of impress upon them the, maybe if we bully them enough, they'll just kill themselves. It's like it's very insidious if you think about it. But like, if we bully them hard enough to make their lives miserable, they might just kill themselves and do our job for them. So the Kaffian society and the core plan is to literally bully a white fur until they kill themselves. That way they're not being like, well, we didn't kill them, they killed them, because it's very hard to be like, a Pwa or Logara. You have your own problems, like, oh fuck, I got, a famine on this planet's out of iron. You can't focus on, like white fur suicide rates. If you're like, well, they're hunting these people to death, that's kind of odd, but that'd be like big news, like, hey, this planet killed 300 white furs in a single day, what the fuck's going on? But like, no one's going to go and kind of like narrow in on suicide rates on a planet, So the Kaffians are going, well, we'll just bully white furs until they kill themselves. Problem solved. But the further away you get from the core planets, the harder it becomes, because the outside planets are more infected by outside sources. So if you're a white Kaffia, you flee to the fringe planets, the planets on the very, very edge of Kaffian control, in the hopes that, it won't be as bad. Because in the core planet, Super Kaffia, Super Pro Kaffia, on a fringe planet, they're just trying to survive. They're probably a colony planet. They're probably in 21st century conditions with like, current century technology. So you're just trying to live, get this planet going, get agriculture going, just try and get it like big. I want you to think of a colony planet as trying to start a lawnmower. You just gotta keep pulling it, and you're pulling it, and eventually you keep pulling it, it's gonna start. You're like, oh, it's a fucking planet. Here we go, But like, I try and do things differently. I try and do things a different way. I don't like following the most common denominator sci-fi tropes. Do humans reverse engineer or use captured image technology? Yeah, so the pack list taught them how to do it. They go, boink. Think of my humans as the world's greatest recyclers. They go, okay, grab that shit, and they look at it. All right, what do you do? Because the humans survive that way. And I'll get on the subject while we're here. So the humans were invaded. The pack list steal technology from the pack list had tech from extinct races that they had eaten to. So the pack list had ships, weapons, and tech from civilizations they ate to death. And they gather and they gather and they gather hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of eating and stealing, and they land on Earth and lose. You have hundreds of years of scattered technologies from hundreds of fucking civilizations laid in one place. And humans are like, man, we just got our fucking asses kicked. There's probably only 1 billion fucking people left. What do? You start recycling. You start studying. You start recycling. You start tinkering with things. So the humans became the galaxy's most proficient recyclers. They go, okay, that spear cut through our armor like butter. Grab, look at it, check it out, and let's see what we can do with this. Humans are the blood ravens of the setting. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yoink. And they take it and they study it. Like, So think of humans as blood ravens as a race. They take things, they study them, they pocket them, they take it home, they break it down and go, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And then they do something with it. So the reason why the reason why the humans bounced back so quickly is that they've had all the stolen tech. And they're like, let's go. And they started breaking it down. And it's why they came up with those wombs. I think I called it part of the resurrection directive, if memory does serve me right. So more or less the humans were like, okay, we found this weird little thing where these packlets were growing their babies in. Let's try and make that for us. So the humans initiated the humans initiated the resurrection directive. And I believe that's what I call it. Might be wrong. Directive. Yes, the resurrection directive. So they use these wombs, and there is a term for this. I have in here somewhere. Artificial womb. Yeah, a Gaia bundle. So they had all these Gaia bundles, and like, okay, we need to build humans back quick, because right now humanity is paranoid. Like, oh man, we just got fucking invaded by fucking space aliens. Half the fucking planet's on fire. What if they come back? Is it simply what is part of a bigger force? I mean, like, because humans would know, okay, that was just an invasion force, and if a planet has more of these, they might be coming back. So humans launch into making the resurrection directive. They have all these Gaia wombs. They're reverse engineering ships, so they have to literally like rev start and pull start their own lawnmower to get that fucking thing back in the running. So they're creating babies. They're using the Gaia wombs. They're harvesting dead humans for all these different kinds of things, and they're trying to get their planet back up to combat readiness. For this setting's humans, combat readiness trumps all, because humans know you're only one bad day from being invaded by a fucking alien again, and they lucked out that a bunch of space junkers did the first time, but now they know that there are out there, there are Pwa out there, there are Logara out there. They know that there's more professional things than just space junkers. So they're on a constant cycle of combat readiness. Yeah, so Meon, more or less, no, I didn't say it in story, but like in lore wise, they went, oh, these suck. Like the humans went, oh yeah, these fucking stink. Thwink, and they just dumped those ships. But they did take that, they found that generator. So I kind of touch onto it in the story, but when the humans realize, oh, that's a fucking generator, they had that spec op team go in. That's why they had two company ships come in, and they were like, we want that fucking generator, and they went all in on that one location to take that one generator, because they knew that's something we need. Their armor, their ships, these all stuck. These all fucking suck. Their rifles suck, their mortars suck, but that spear and that generator, go get that shit. So the humans triangulated on one place, like, get that generator, get it back here, we need that. So it's kind of, now I don't tell the whole story, and some people like it, some people don't, but I allude to things, and my hope is that people will pick up on those alludements to what I was saying. Is the galaxy unable to escape country music? You're gonna hate the next chapter. I actually had a question about those wombs. Were they sort of inspired by the artificial womb from What I Am, or what that I Am Mother? I don't know what that is. I haven't seen that movie. I was inspired by the actual ones we have. So the actual wombs we have, lamb grown and artificial womb. So they've been growing lambs in these artificial wombs. They're called biobags, and there is a So we've actually had these things for fucking, I think, a decade now. But they're called biobags, where they just kind of grow a womb inside there. So I kind of took that concept and made it into a Gaia's bundle. That's all it really did. Did it die again? I don't think so. It's up for me. Up for me, man. Yeah, exactly, Ace. Like, man, these ships. So imagine being a voice. So like, man, we've been nailing these ships for like fucking a week now, and they fucking suck. Like, it's like, no, thank you. Psh, they throw it away because you know, while you're attacking these ships, they're observing them, going, okay, they're using the same thrusters as us. Their shields fucking suck. Their armor sucks. These things are trash. And just get rid of them. But the guys I'm looking, yeah, these guys are fucking teleporting. Like, oh, how the hell are they teleporting? That's pretty interesting. So you're trying to hunt down that one little thing they want. It's like humans are dumpster diving. Like, shit, that shit. Ooh, you know, that kind of thing. And it's why the Pwa and the Logara and the Kojin and the Coffee are all kind of stagnating. They're not recycling things. They have that self pride where we have our stuff. We don't use our stuff. Let's see here. One last one from Zaynan. I guess the present year in story. Okay, so I put in I put in that gun specifically to help you guys get a rough idea of a year. So I know one guy did all the math, and I think Zaynan found that post, but it would be 2117 for the current age, and so. And, you know, that's about right. But I kept it like, well, it could be 21/7, but, you know, PWA calendars, you know. So give you guys a rough example of where it could be. And you guys are, y'all are in the area. It's 21/17. Somebody asked, well, how the hell did it bounce back so fast? Because they had, you know, the Gaia wombs. They had their resurrection directive. They were reverse engineering all this stuff from, you know, hundreds of civilizations. But more or less, when humans survived their near extinction, they got like a loot chest. You know what I mean? Like they got like a bag of rewards. Like, here you go, you survived. Here's a reward, and they had to go back and rebuild all their shit. And of course, that also have the AI helping them. So like, in my opinion, it can happen that fast. If you're, let's see, the resurrection directive, was birthing how many kids per day? Let's see, directive. I said in here they're pumping out a ton of babies. Let's see. Boom. But yeah, they were pumping out. Yeah, so during the resurrection, they're birthing hundreds of thousands of babies. Like, they're just pumping out kids. Because remember, the Gaia wombs are made of an actual human womb. So when they would find these humans who were alive but essentially brain dead, they would harvest them. So these humans would pull out wombs, they'd pull out testicles, and they would kind of make things happen. They would constantly rotate and birth these children because they knew we have to get our numbers back. If we get invaded again, there's only a fucking billion of us, you know, maybe a billion and change. What are we gonna do? So they're birthing hundreds of thousands of children. Bam, 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 bam. Doesn't matter about race. Don't matter. None of that shit matters. We need a human sperm and a human fucking egg, and boom, and baby. You know, they needed babies. So like, it's one of those things where it's just, you know, for somebody think, well, it's only been 100 and change of years. Well, if you're constantly birthing out hundreds of thousands of children in only 100 years, you're gonna have a pretty stonking populace. You know what I mean? No, so Banto, that was quite literally like basically a one-use consumable. Like, the pack list had no idea what they were. They knew what they did, or like, boop, you know, because like they're like, well, we got one planet we need to go to. We have one of these things left. We'll send them out. And by the time the humans, you know, got back around to being empowered, the nanobots had already expired. They're like, how the fuck do we make these? So that's unfortunately like lost technology. For the RIS units, how did humanity decide to subdue them and use them for military service instead of just killing them, since they'd make themselves known by attacking everyone around them? Seems more likely they'd be killed in self-defense rather than non-lethally repurposed. So I say in a story that some folks just get killed. You know, they kind of they roll a 0 on the D20, they go wild, and a lot of them are just killed. If they manage to get a hold of them, you know, like, okay, come here, you, and they kind of grab you and throw you in a cage, because it's just, in my opinion, it's too much of a resource to waste. when you have these cursed humans, like, who are just like, they're somewhat sentient, but they're like absolutely savage in combat. Why waste that? Well, you know, you have all these resources. You can kind of sort of control them. Why waste? Why waste a naturally reoccurring terror weapon? At the same time, it's not like it's the human's fault. Like, hey, sorry, you rolled a 1. You're kind of insane, you know. And I kind of say in the story as well. If you guys look at the elder brother, they seek redemption. So in those moments of clarity, they kind of go, oh no, I'm a broken human. I've done these horrible things. I can kind of sort of redeem myself. There's also a religious dogma around it. So it's kind of a thing of the humans don't want to waste a perfectly good weapon. It also, the people who are affected want to have that attempt at redemption. So it's kind of like a, well, it's a bad situation, but let's make use of this thing and do something with it. So, like, you know, that way the humans can die with a smile on their face, and you get a perfectly good rage weapon out of it, and you can have it. You can now there's this spectral boogeyman. And it is also a psychological weapon. So say we go, hey, if you guys don't play nice, RIS is coming for you. Like we see humans say, well, we're gonna riz you. You know, it's not like it's gonna be an RIS. Like, hey, if you all behave, we got those fucking black ships, and they go, shit. You know, like, you go wouldn't do it, and say, and even just the threat, like, y'all could sit, like, in this current climate, humans could send a empty black ship with a white skull on it to a planet, have it sit outside, people will fold. Like, imagine having a ship where it's like, you know, hey, if you guys don't behave, we'll fucking send on the black ships. Like, you won't. And the ship shows up, and they go, you won't do it. And then it only takes like one planet to be like, you won't do it, and you'll deploy RIS companies on that planet, and just chaos ensues. Just one planet's all it takes. Well, they did the art to the fucking E14, so yeah, okay, we'll play ball. It is kind of a terror weapon. It really is. This is a weapon that is used to kind of make others kowtow and behave. And it kind of builds that mystique. It builds that that power of the unit itself. So I'm personally a fan of it. That's just me, you know? So play nice. Yeah, literally play nice over airdrop the Doomslayer. That's kind of the vibe, yeah. And Red Wolf Boy, thank you for following. Let's see here. Okay, question 1. This is from Careful Possession 20. Did the White Devil ever pick up a rifle, or did she use her powers of blackmail to commit? No. So, Anili, who is the OC of Tori, I was like, I gotta use this, because Tori made all this fan art for her OC, and I was like, man, that is too good. Can I please borrow your character? And that's what I did. I went in and I borrowed her character, and I made a story for her, and it's really hard to not enjoy, because she did such a good job drawing. I think, and some of you in chat may not know that there's art of Anili. Let me try and find them from Tori. I should have saved those pictures, but it feels weird saving pictures that aren't like drawn for me. Give me 1 second. Jesus thing. From user Tori, and then has let's see, there it is. So, like, there's images of Amelie doing this, and she has what if her chasing a dude? We can find it again. Ah, here it is. So when I saw this this character she drew, in fact it's a white fur, I was like, man, that'd be a funny fucking character to have as a dichotomy to, like, Riddy. Like, hey Tori, can I steal your character? And she's like, yeah. So I took Tori's OC and put it in the book, because it's just, this is such a funny character. You know, like this super autistic supply shop specialist. Yeah, so Swift, the next chapter, we're getting a kind of a lighter, a lighter lore drop. Optimum Prime, I think we're getting 2 subs. Now one thing what you'll realize is that I'm at heart a fantasy author, and with sci-fi, I do love it. I do love sci-fantasy. I do love it. I love it to death. It's extremely slept on. You know, like when you think about it, Dune is sci-fantasy, but I loved Dune and I love sci-fantasy. So I'm putting in sci-fantasy elements into the story as a little spice, you know. And if you ask me, is this also a huge contentional point? I think that Star Trek was sci-fantasy, and that's a whole other fucking. I got in a fight over this at a fucking Comic-Con once, but I was like, no, Star Trek sci-fantasy. Like, what do you mean? There's a dude in space who just shows up and does shit to ships. You know, there's a lot of sci-fantasy elements to Star Trek. People just kind of ignore. I don't know why. Sci-fi was sci-fan. Yeah, I mean, I love putting in elements of these fantastical elements to sci-fi, because it's like, you know, hard sci-fi has its place. I get that, but like Star Wars is sci-fantasy. You think the Force is just this actual thing? It's a fantastical space wizard ability. It's fucking sci-fantasy. Like you cannot tell me that. You cannot tell me that Star Trek or that Star Wars is not sci-fantasy. You see, Star Trek and Star Wars broke from pure sci-fi when they added those odd elements. When they added, you know, the Force, or they added what's that goober's name? He had a name. I can't remember what it's fucking called. Star Trek weirdest villains. Q. Yeah. So like Q is a sci-fantasy element. I don't care what anyone says. Q is sci-fantasy. There's no other way to fucking put it. That is it. You know, Q to me will always be sci-fantasy. Always. There's no way around it. The Q. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so I always love putting in fantasy elements, and then me, yes, Firefly is hard sci-fi in my opinions, and they did a real good job at it, by the way. Firefly is great hard sci-fi. But for me, I thought, like, what if humanity gets pressed so hard during this war for survival that they cause a little shift in reality? Because it's one of those things where, like, I was a ghost hunter for fucking, you know, for a long time, and a lot of weird shit happens in ghost hunting where you kind of go, why is that? So, like, what if all this death, all this strife, all this emotion caused a little click in reality of Earth, and like, what would that do? What would that cause? And that's currently what I'm exploring when I'm doing this. But yes, so back to the question. Amelie would have gone through basic training. She would have held a rifle, qualified, all that shit. So Amelie, by being a midget, has passed human basic training. So keep that in mind. So she's tough. She's a tough little git. Will the UAA army make the White Devil pick up a rifle? Yeah. So and again, this is one of those things where in a state of constant vigilance, constant readiness, everyone must be combat ready. So so Amelie is as combat ready as any other fucking UAA soldier. Not quite like Warhammer Aaron. Warhammer goes hard, and Warhammer goes super hard into sci-fantasy. I'm more like a light dusting. I am the powder sugar on the donut of fantasy, of like sci-fantasy. Like, you get your nice warm hot sci-fi donut and a light sprinkling of sci-fantasy on there. You know what I mean? Let's see here. But yeah, so she could. So yeah, will you allow Rudy to be shipped with Morrison in the teacher? Will she finally? Oh, be shipped with Morrison. I mean, are they not being shipped as it is? In the teacher, will she finally get love match with very old soul? But she is young. But she is a young buck. She knows the old ways of black. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, this is be a constant chapter thing. So I will be writing more romance with, like, Miss Law in the future. So no worries there. Miss Law will have her moment to shine in the sun. I can't allow the space dragon to languish forever in no hug territory. Yeah, 40K goes really hard in that miasma aspect. I'm not too keen on that. In my opinion, 40K went too hard into it. They went so hard into science fantasy that it kind of got a bit absurd. Like of course, the whole aspect of 40K is that it is absurd. 40K is absurd. But it got to be it seemed like it got to the point where I was like, okay, like you're reading, like, okay, flip page, okay, flip page, okay, like it's just one of those things where they went too hard into it, and it kind of became a bit silly. But that's 40K in general, I think. Will Riddy get the mother and sister and her dad's messages fixed? And she finally. Okay, so here's the fun part. The messages are ruined. So, I guess spoilers on this thing. That's not really a huge spoiler, but as you guys learned, that data cache was on the Moose, right? Well, that data cache is a Kaffian data cache, and the Kaffian data cache, it scrambles Kaffian messages, or like in a Kaffian language, all around it. It'll cause interference with like other languages, but it'll fucking scramble Kaffian because it's trying to keep whatever's inside the box from getting out. So that's kind of what's happening. So those messages are just ruined. It really has no idea what's going on in general. Okay. Spark 113. Are the Kaffia's colors, the reds, blues, and green, for example, naturally occurring? So all the colors of the Kaffia society are naturally occurring, due to evolutionary sci-fi hunky junk. All of the Kaffian's colors are natural. They're not made. And it was this naturally occurring color that made the Languilata, the caste system. So let's go down to, I got a big ass language book. Goddamn. I got Tonka Fey, Dwarfha, Kakihi, Mahaya, and the language of the Dog. But yeah, for Languilata, there's the blue, orange, yellow, black, red, brown, green, pink, and then the whites. And there's also, the golds and the purples. But like those are all naturally occurring colors. And it's kind of like a hit rate. It's kind of like it's kind of like RNG to see which color is going to come out. Some colors are more common. Some colors are like, oh, hey, we got a purple. It's kind of like an RNG hit, but it is naturally occurring. Oh, it's your common cheesecake. Okay, but yeah, so one of those things where they're all naturally occurring. With what we've heard of so far about their feats in biological engineering, such as making it easier to have children and suppressants, it doesn't seem. Yeah, so like. No, so the whole color thing is that it is a point of pride to where a Kaffia can naturally be gold or purple, and it's like a huge pride point. Like it's kind of like saying, "Look what nature chose as my color. I'm better than you." Like no one would choose to be a brown or a black or a white. They want to be a gold or a purple or a yellow. So it's one of those things where it's a natural occurring blessing, if you will, or a curse for some. Nah, see, the Indian caste system is, in my opinion, fucking actually worse, but that's the whole other thing. What rough percentage of Earth's population survived the Packless invasion? How long ago did Packless invade? How many years were the Packless on Earth? So, again, I hate doing hard numbers. It annoys me. But I will say, though, it's like from the 8 billion that were on Earth, maybe a billion, if not less than a billion, survived. So a reduction of 7 billion people were just wiped off of Earth, either through combat action, consumption, or from the first impact of the Packless breaking atmosphere. As for the time, I keep that vague. I keep the time vague because if I try to do hard numbers, people nitpick. And I was to say it happened long ago, you know, because it's one of those things where if you try to do well, they invaded in 19. Like I am not Tolkien. I'm not in that stage yet. I don't want to get bogged down in those kind of details. I just want to tell a story, entertain people. Like Tolkien wanted to do a damn near an oral tradition, if not a what's the term for it? Wanted to do a not really an origin story, but like a mythology in a way. You want to do mythologies, and mythologies need hard times. I'm just telling a story to be entertaining, so I'm not going to get hardcore on numbers. Ask Kumiko, yeah, it's just I don't like doing hard dates because hard dates will set things in stone. And you're like, because you say you fuck up and you say the wrong word, people go, oh, well, in 134 Anno Domini Circuli, you're like, fuck, and you're caught in that trap. You gotta go back and fix it. So like one of those things where I know people like having hard times, but until I have the entire story told, then I'll do hard times. Boop, 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 boop. That way I can't fuck it up in the future, you know? Because remember, I write these stories through the week. So if I have to constantly think about times and dates and yada yada yada, I'll get bogged down in time. I'll get behind on the chapters. So yeah, I try to avoid hard times, but I will say the Packless were on Earth for it actually. Yeah, exactly, Brenner. But and hopefully you guys helped out. That one user who's having problems getting the invite. I don't know if y'all got her in yet or not. Yeah, so there's someone in the chat who says their Discord invite wasn't working. Hopefully y'all can figure that out for. But yeah, for how long they were on Earth for at least I'd say 5 years. Now, 5 years may seem like a very short amount of time, but it was like a boom, huge. So it's like, so almost figure like a radius. The Packless land, boom, and they spread out, boom, and they're taking over, and they hit a point. They go whack, and they stop, and slowly get ground back down, and then eradicated. And that takes some time. It takes time to eradicate Packless. So until the Packless were killed to the man, it would still be on Earth. So more or less, I'm going to call this 5 years. 5 years for a fight to the death with a numerically superior and technologically superior element. I think 5 years is more than enough. Yeah, what? There we go. Yeah, Jasmine Dawn Gray needs a either a manual Discord invite or a personal link made by Franners or one of the mods. Let's see. Certain Web. My question is, what is the extent of the mutations that humanity has gone under? Was it explained? What is explained in chapters? A lot more of the mutations seem to be cosmetic or physiological based. I'm wondering if there is any mutation that affects humans physically. For example, I know there's one mutation in humans where they gain extra muscle mass or bone density, but have several consequences for it. I'm curious seeing how that is addressed and maybe implemented in chapters. So, for a lot of the new babies that came out of the Gaia wombs, that stuff was like nil, because humanity wants combat ready, combat able people. So with a bit of gene what's it called? Not gene splicing, not gene modification, but like gene cleaning, I guess. They went in and they fixed all that shit. Like, you know, we need combat ready troopers at all times. So this is gonna, hey, grow file, how you doing? But this again, I get called a lot of names. I get called racist. I get called a eugenist. But I'm working off of a assumption, okay? So, like, at this time, there are no human dwarves. There are no human giganticism. There is no you know, extra bone tissue, extra, like, they need gene editing. Thank you. They need combat ready humans at all times. So humans went in and they fixed all these old things. And remember when I said this once on a stream, they called me a eugenist. Like, no, humanity almost died. Even then, all the dwarves would have died. You think dwarves can survive in a combat environment for 5 years? Fuck no, not on a planetary invasion. You know, like if you know, it's one of those things where humans said, okay, they all died. Fucking, they had a horrible track record. Let's just make we gotta fix this. Cause you're fucking thinking about it. You know, humans are going, we nearly died, you know, and we could easily die again. We need to get all humans in their best condition possible naturally, right? Because, you know, humans do have still an attachment with the natural, you know, they're not like Kafia. Okay, we'll keep them as natural as possible. We'll just clean them. We'll just give them a good solid cleaning. So humans cleaned the human genome. The humans went in and cleaned human DNA to make not a perfect human, but a more combat ready human that's going to be, you know, more on average ready to go, you know. So they more or less fucking that too, Banto. So it's like they went in and like, okay, we're gonna clean, strain, and make so humans are always able to be at their, you know, top genetic ability. They removed dwarfism, they removed giganticism, they removed any physical, you know, all these physical deformities we have now. They went, you know what, we can't have that shit. Because we think about it, you know, again, I'm kind of rambling here, but like if, you know, humans said, you know what, we can't have them. We can't. They're going to burden the system. They're going to bring us all down in combat readiness. We just can't have them. So they made this like executive decision to go, you know what, just fucking clean them out. So they went in, and before, you know, these hundreds of thousands of babies were born, they went in and they just clean the babies out. They made sure the DNA was perfect. They went, all right, send it. And they sent them out. And this is how it is. And like, I remember someone said, I forgot where the comment was. It was on YouTube. I bet they're all white babies. And I was like, no, it's just they wanted humans. So like right now, I think canonically, most of the world is either tan or white. Tan, well, I don't know why people say Asians are like, you know, like Asian skin tones. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tan or peach. So yeah, we'll say that, you know, most of the world is either white, tan, or peach. That's the current, you know, fucking human colors. There are still blacks and like darker tan, but like for the most part, those places got kind of wiped out in the fucking war. And again, when I said, I can remember this. When I said, well, most of the landings happened in Africa, and like I was called, oh, you're a race, you want to wipe out the other, like, no, that's the largest land mass. We should right now plan on aliens invading in that area. That's the biggest land mass, the biggest populations, you know, and if you follow a logical avenue, like that's going to be where most people are going to fucking die. Well, the thing is, so I was going to go over there to that. Oh, I can't. Hold on. God damn it. But yeah, so, what was I saying? So yeah, that's one of those things where it's not racist. That's just a logical walking point. And when, and again, it's just one of those things. When you have a logical invasion point, you know, so like in my story, the Pathless invaded in that area. And unfortunately, those areas aren't going to fucking exist for very long. You know, it's just one of those things. They're the first contact, or the first destroyed, the first eaten. It's just how it is. There's no agenda. That's just how that cookie crumbled down. And looking at it, I couldn't get past the logic. That's how it happened. It sucks. It's not nice. But when I had this enemy, you know, I had this enemy written up. That's just what happened. And you know, it's just kind of how, like, well, that's how it would go logically. But like for the most part, you know, like humans are kind of constrained and filtered and kind of not really perfected, but streamlined. Can I export this fucking thing as I need to? Export main storage iron to Control F. Gonna do it. Man, why is it giving me that fucking error? So trying to export this PDF, it gives me this fucking error every goddamn time, and I cannot figure out why it puts that fucking error in there. Like, well, can't do it. Why not? Don't know. I just don't get why it's doing that. Let it sit for a second. Okay, so that's everything should be rocking and rolling. Give me 1 second here, chat. I remember I'm always working. I'm always trying to get things going for artists or community members. There's always something to do, something to fix. Export, low quality output, rasterize nothing, downsample images, export. Don't be a little bitch about it. Just do it. Save. Wow, I'm gonna try, huh? That's cool. That's cool. Never ends, dude. Well, that one's exporting. All right. I'll get that over to Ori here in a second. Okay. I mean, Cynance, one of those things where it's kind of luck of the draw. So this is where I get a bit crazy on it. So they were harvesting, not yet, lol. So luck of the draw, because they were harvesting sperm and wombs and not caring who was what. So you might be pure white, you might be tan, you might look Brazilian. There's no, because they're like, okay, sperm, womb, and they're throwing them in there. There was no like, they didn't go like white sperm, white egg. Yeah, they're like sperm, egg, good, cling, sperm, egg, good, cling. They're just putting fucking kids in. So it could be born really white, could be born really tan. It was just what you were going in as. There was no like, rhyme or reason to it. They just needed babies. And sometimes you got a full black baby. It's like, hey, you came out full black. Somehow a black sperm and a black egg got in the same womb. Yeah, let's go. But like, besides that, it's a fucking RNG toss. You know, it didn't matter. Someone say Brazilian? Did somebody say Brazilian? Somebody leans in like, Brazilian reporting. All right, I'm gonna send this to Tori real quick. Bump. Please don't crash the stream, you piece of shit. Okay. Send that to her, and I'll get a CC manual going as well. Yes. File, export. Or continue. Let's see. Doot. Export. Paste. Build writer CC. Save. Come on. Hey, there we go. Okay, so I got to export as flattened unsupported items, and I'll see if this works. All right. Fuck me, dude. Never a dull moment. Franer, it's gonna be what's her dick? Jasmine Dawn Gray. So Franer, look for Jasmine Dawn Gray and send her a DM or a message with the link invite. Sometimes it just does that. It makes it so it doesn't work, and I don't know why that is. It just like, yeah, so it's expired. Like, no, it's not. I just made this fucking thing. It's not expired. I don't know. Okay. So let's see here. So mutations, right? So in terms of those kind of mutations, no. As for the packless and the stung, those so it's like it's just a foreign DNA contaminant they can't figure out how to get rid of. It's one of those things where the packless use weapons from peoples who they don't know how it even worked. So these are foreign contaminants in DNA that they just can't figure out how to remove. It's just like, how is this fucking doing this shit? And the humans have been chasing that dragon for a long time because they, while some are cosmetic, some are not, like the curse. So they're trying to figure out how the hell do we purify this DNA strand to get rid of this shit, and they can't do it. So it's either, there are the stung humans where they have different eye colors, different hair colors, weird colored freckles that are more minor, and then there's like the guys who just go fucking insane, the cursed humans, and that's the two they can't figure out. So it's one of those things where it's either a physical or a mental mutation. They just can't. They can't figure out how to do it, even with AI, because these things that were used are so foreign. They're just these weird, unknown little space guns. Like, well, how the fuck does that fucking work? They just can't figure it out. So it's just one of those things where they're still chasing that dragon. They're still trying to get it to work, but they just can't figure out how to purify that out of the strands. So it's just one of those unlucky side effects of being invaded. And I want them to be a side effect of, well, you survived, here's your asterisk, that kind of thing. Where you got some weird alien shit inside of you. It's going to be affecting you for probably the life of humanity. So sorry, bud, but you did survive. Was the Packless attacked? So yeah, so the Packless were their own little race. They were the Packless, and when they invaded Earth, Earth wiped out the Packless. So more or less, these space junkers, the Packless, were going from planet to planet to planet. They were undefeated for hundreds of years. They hit Earth and are eradicated. So I want you to keep that in mind. Like what happened? Like they were cruising along space, eating planets, eating civilizations. They hit Earth, and Earth said, fuck you. And Earth just eradicated this fucking race. Okay. Can the graffiti on the station visit Earth, or are they? Yeah, so the graffiti can go wherever they want. The graffiti are part of the UAA. So wherever the UAA is, the graffiti can go. So the graffiti they're an odd little race, like they're not super large, but like they got really friendly with humans. Humans like, you know what? You're all right. You're one of us now. And then and graffiti can go wherever they want to. Graffiti have the same exact rights as a UAA citizen. So it's kind of one of those things. Yeah, the Packless are gone. Like the Packless were eradicated on Earth. They killed every single Packless ever existed. They were like the Hatfields of space. They were all in one place. They invaded. A family that invades together stays together. You know what I mean? I'm just here for the answers. Also love the series. You can write real good. Thank you. I'm damn sure you explained it, but how does the thing with the different hair colored? Oh, okay. So yeah. So we answer this question. So more or less, stung humans, their DNA just gets corrupted, and the DNA goes, brown hair, yellow hair, and the DNA is kind of like, it's kind of like this weapon, kind of like stun grenade, a flashbang to fucking DNA. Like, what? This sounds right, and you got a kid with orange eyes and fucking blue hair. So it's one of those things. Mind you, of the curses, being stung is one of the better ones because it just affects your hair and eye color. That's the only thing it really does. Oh goodness. I like how detailed you get into each of the characters, fleshing them out over time. Since you have added more individuals into this iteration, how hard has it been to develop different characteristics with personalities for all of them? Not hard at all. It's from Shy Black Guy 18. That was from Chaos Jester. But that's not hard at all. In my life, I have people watched. I've dealt with people. I've interacted with people. I've met all kinds of people. I have my tables I use, and I don't find it really hard to make a people. You know, it's just like I just go and I make a person. It's not hard for me. It's hard to explain what I do, but I just make a people and like, ta-da, here's a person. Dangerous Cabinet. We'll be posting his answers on Discord as well. I'm doing a video on it, so like, yeah. Was wondering what the megafauna of the other planets may be. Do the Kafia or Logara have, or did they have a natural predator? So one thing I establish lore-wise is that the Kafia, Pua, Logara, Kojin, all these other species, they eradicate their predators. More or less, they turn their planets into automation. There are no predators, and if need be, they call the prey species. They don't really worry about it. They go, you know what? I'm Apex. I'm killing off every megafauna we have, and you know what? We have like, you know, like sheep analogs and goat analogs and call it a day. That's all we want. While the humans are like, well, it's why the humans are so odd. The humans have this game reserve on their planet. The humans have a game reserve on their colony. They're not like other species because people see it's such a human thing to think. I love seeing this, like, well, how are you gonna regulate they're an advanced alien species. They regulate it. They get a drone or they do it themselves. And I always kind of laugh when people like, because it's such a human thing to do. It really is. Humans go, well, how would you regulate the planet? And like, well, they would do it themselves, kiddo. Not everyone has that human mentality of let the planet do its planet's job. These advanced alien species are gonna go, well, fuck that. Kill off all this dangerous shit, and we'll take care of the rest of that stuff. Or like, this bug's really annoying. Kill these fucking bugs. Will they pollinate? Then fuck it, we'll pollinate. Like aliens don't care. They can make a nano bug and go around and pollinate their flowers. They don't give a shit. It is a purely human thing to go, well, you can't mess with the ecosystem. Like only a human's gonna do that, in my opinion. Of course, we've met no aliens or anything like that, but like it's one of those assumptions where it's a very human thing to think. So in terms of like megafauna or predators, the other species wiped them out because like this megafauna serves no purpose. Get rid of it. It's gross. Or like, hey, we have this giant 6-armed sloth thing, and it's causing a lot of traffic problems. Well, get rid of the fucking thing. So there's this, they blitz the thing out of existence. Because why would they bother? Why would a Pua care about the rare 8-toed Skilligath? Like, who gives a fuck? It's in my way. It's getting caught in my ventilators. Get rid of it, you know? Like, oh, well, the 8-toed, like, fucking Villigath, helps produce this rare protein for this plant. Like, they don't make the fucking protein. Get rid of it. You know, it's one of those kind of things. In my opinion, you know, worrying about like the natural ecosystems of planets is a purely human thing. Like, for sure. It's an assumption. It may be a while, but until I see a human, like an alien species that proves me wrong, I'm going to assume it for the sake of the fucking story. You know what I mean? Dude, I would happily eradicate love bugs. They do nothing. I don't care what anyone says. They do nothing. Let's see here. This is from Red Wolf Boy. Ah, he's in chat right now. Of the alien species arriving into human space, it has been stated that a little of everyone in the IDC has been making their way to Earth either by smuggling or legitimate means. Over the course of the story's timeline, 8 months, I think, what's the ballpark estimate of former IDC civilians that have come to human space, and how many of them are permitted to land onto Earth at all within that time that were not joining the military? More or less, only the white Kafians have refugee status because they're being currently hunted. But I mean, you're gonna this hasn't been stated yet, and it may change. Literally, I could say one thing now and go, I'm doing it differently in the actual chapter where I write it down. But for the current time, more or less, if you want to live on Earth, you need, it's like you need a visa. Like I want to live on Earth for a while. How long? A year? All right, here's a year-long visa, and we'll do a renewal, a month before your thing is up. Or they want to go and help out, like the on Goldilocks, the Earthen colony. We want to live there because hey, it's a new planet. Humans are here, and it's got lower taxes. Fuck it, let's send it. So like on Earth, it's like some may think, well, it must be full of well, actually, you can live in space. Like there are human space, space stations that count as like states or like little micro countries. Like, oh, this is, Station Fairfax, and Station Fairfax is its own little fucking thing in space floating around. Like it's one of those things where living on Earth isn't hard. It's just more like a, do you want to live on Earth? Do you want to live here for a year, 2 years? You gonna work while you're here? It's like any other immigration thing, really. Well, Optimus Prime, remember, the whites are being hunted. So a white fur is... Are you new here, Optimus? The white furs of the Kafia are being hunted down, or they're being, ostracized in society, or they're being put down, or there's like a high suicide rate. So a lot of... They're being... So humans clocked it immediately. Humans went, that's what you're doing. Well, and it's why like for like Lyra, they gave her like the little payment card, and like, here, you have any friends? Because they didn't know something ain't right here. Because the humans went, something ain't right here. This shit ain't adding up. And they're like, what's going on over there? Got this space, huh? So they're kind of bringing in these white furs to kind of like fill them in on, so what's going on over there, huh? That kind of shit. Because humans are nosy. Think about it. Humans are in any book you read. Humans are little nosy little shits, putting their noses and stuff. Going, what's going on with your planet, bud? While it has not been outright revealed in the story yet, how much influence do the war religions hold sway in human society? So a lot. And that's due to the sci-fantasy aspect of the story. To like give. Again, you're going to figure it out in the next chapter, and in the following chapter. I'm doing a little religion release where more or less it's one of those things where like what if faith became real through struggle, that kind of thing. I've always loved interesting arms and would like to have a better idea of what kind our drop pod lichen is sporting. What's the rough idea of how Rudy's revolver, given to her by a veteran, looks like in appearance? Does a split cylinder refer to something like the Dardic? Split cylinder is one where it pops up and splits like this. So you go click. As you click, it goes and pops out the rounds, and then that way you have a three round. Mind you, this is a huge revolver. So you go click like a Schofield or a Webley, but the thing goes click, and as it clicks out, it ejects those rounds and allows you to have a faster way to load singles in. Plus, how it works is that with her revolver, when you load in 3 rounds on one side and close it, it'll shift automatically to 3. It's a smart revolver. And top break, no, not really top break. It's a whole other thing. It's not really, because a top break, you pull back, half cock, and then you put a lever, and it top breaks. So this is you crack it like this. As you crack it, these things, kind of like it's kind of like the system on a straight pull bolt action. You go click, and forcing that split causes it to crack open and shoot the rounds out. It's a sci-fi revolver. They can do their own thing. It's fucking space tech. It's just rule of cool in that regard. Let's see. How large is the space station Miss Amla teaches on? Would it be comparable to a city scale, one like Babylon 5, or a small town? It's definitely a city scale. This is a space city, and essentially this has its own its own dockyards, its own warehouses. It's got living quarters, different kind of tiers. It's got a college on it. It's a city. It's a giant space city. And while it would be easy to say they're all like needle shaped, They're all like umbrella shaped. I'm allowing in this particular setting that stations can be built however they want. You'll have cube stations, mushroom stations, kind of like, you know, kind of comes like this and kind of blooms out. You'll have rod stations. You'll have stations that are completely like esoteric looking. You'll have Art Deco stations. It's just because a space station is a space station. It requires engines to stay in orbit, and that's really about it, and a power source. So they can build it however they want to. And it allows stations to be like more iconic. Like, oh, this certain station is shaped like a giant dolphin, for all you fucking know. But like, I know, like in my head, I see that station as kind of like the first cobbled together space station. So when I think of this station, I always think of like the those round boys. Trying to find a good image of what. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Like this station's more like this kind of vibe, where it's got a. Oh, I can just pull it over. Right. I'll try to put it in Discord. It's like this kind of vibe, where, you know, it's a classic space station. You got the fucking giant dish on top and the rods sticking out, like, you know, a classic sci-fi. Like, if humans said, you know what, let's build a space station, they would build probably this first time. We're like, okay, there's a space station. How about a square one? You know, like, this is kind of like that most space station you can think of. And it's, I think that'd be the first go of like a, you know, of a space station. Is the space station secured by a civilian-style police force? Okay, so there is no civilian police force anymore. There's merely military police. I took a direction of you know, like the Italians have just military police as police. So on the station, the military unit on board is the military police. So like, so say like you're a reg. You're going in, you're like, okay, you know, you go through basic training, you realize, oh, I'm being put on space station XYZ. Then you know, okay, I'm going to be police force. Because at that point, you know, there's no point in having a police force. You can have a private security force, but in terms of like a free, because we think about it, a station could pay to have their own security forces, or just host a company of troopers for free and get your own police force. Is one of the kind of things. A small beach in a sea. Yeah. Let's see. I've been making a timeline. Oh, no. Swamp Gator, no. I've been trying to make a timeline of the story's history, like some others from Chapter 1. I came to the conclusion, 2117, yeah. 10 years, 2107. Yeah, Swamp, I'm not gonna give you an answer, because it's just, I gotta do the math on it. I gotta do the math, and I don't wanna do the math. And the thing is, you guys, here's the funny part. You guys are way smarter than me, all right? I'm a creative, but I'm not smart. Okay, so you guys will go, this math isn't mathing, this guy's retarded. And I'm like, because then, you know, I'll be caught. I'll be caught. I am vague for my own protection because you guys are going to beat me with numbers. Let's see here. So it's like Swamp Gator, you're correct. It's around 2117. But the rest of that, I mean, man, it's just, I say 10 years on purpose because it gives you a span of time for the Ur War. But I will say that the War with the Packless happens around our time-ish. Like, imagine if you were in 2025, 2026, alien invasion, you're scrapping it out, you know. So I want to say, you know what, just for the sake of argument, all right, I want to say that, you know, the Packless invasion happened in our time, you know, our time. 2025, 2024, 2026, you know, kind of like, it happened in the old age, the time of the post-COVID, you know, that kind of shit. Because that way, like, I'm still being vague, but you do have a bit of a harder, you know, a harder point to work off of. That and imagine imagine how much cooler it would be to say, like, you know, like you're 2025, you're like, I gotta fight an alien invasion. Fuck, because we have cool shit right now. We have really cool weapons and all that fun shit, and secret space weapons and secret sci-fi shit. And imagine having that come out and broiling across, you know, and is just that kind of thing. No problem, Red Wolf. Red Wolf boy. Red Wolf boy. Are we going to get to see any of the fan art or memes and YouTube videos? Fan art, I asked permission on, and some folks have said no. So it's one of those things. Memes are also fan created. If they want to put in, like, I could do a meme video, like, hey, submit your favorite memes, and we'll see how that goes. But like, it's super touchy. It's super touchy. Because I have guys who will report me. So here's the fun part. Some of you kind of new here. I have this cabal of people who go out of their way to try and destroy my reputation. So say I use someone's art without permission, they'll like report me for it, or they'll tell YouTube, hey, he didn't have permission for this, and then he'll go in and like completely like report my shit. So it's just it's just one of those things where I try and get permission always. I say, hey, if you submit your image, we'll do a video on it. And it's kind of an implied permission. So, but we'll see how that goes. I mean, it is kind of fucking stupid, and it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, I would love to do it. It sounds really fun, but there are these people out there who make it their mission in life to just make mine as hard as possible. I couldn't tell you why. You know, it's that weaponized autism, I guess, but a lot of lore behind it. A lot of lore behind it. And I could not tell you why. I don't think anyone can, really. It's just one of those things where that's just their mode of operation. Sorry, I got a work email I'm trying to do real quick. I say this is my day every day. It's always answering emails or dealing with voice actors or narrators or artists or editing issues or problems with websites. It's always something, brothers. Always something. Yeah, your link's not working? Great. Copy URL. Let's see here. All right. No Sundays off? I don't really have days off. Not really. There are some days where I'll take off about 4 hours to like play World of Warcraft or go paint some miniatures, but I don't really have days off. There's always something popping up. Yeah, Kason, go ahead. So it's from Glittering Log. How long do the humans fight the Was 10 years was mentioned, but is the whole war or just human involvement? Oh, now I'm tracking. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, Grumpy. It's just, I think only Milsurp can explain it. Milsurp has the knowledge to explain how these people react. It's just, it's weird shit, brother. It's weird shit. Let's see here. So the War was more than 10 years. I believe I say in a series that the human involvement was for 10 years. This was a multi-planet, kingdom, space kingdom war. So it was a good long while. Are all iridescent Kafia hunted or just whites? Only whites. So I believe I say in the book when like an iridescent gold fur or purple fur, they're kind of like elevated, but only whites because whites have that thing. You guys should have picked up on the thing by now, right? I've had little sprinklings of what it is with the whites. I'm sure you all picked up on it. How secret is a Kafia secret police? If there is one, very secret. The Kafian secret police are the actual name for them. I haven't picked one yet. They're more they are super secret, in depth, and there are some in the military on human. So there are currently some secret police in the EUC and UAA right now. What did the humans rescue any Kafia colony worlds? No, they did not rescue any. That's still that's not their jam. That's still a part of a whole other fucking, nationality, kingdom. So they can't go and rescue a planet. It's just not how it really works. Sometimes, Ripper, only sometimes. I think I've done it twice. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I've only done that twice. Now, sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes you guys will get a thing, and I go, "Fuck, they figured it out." Like I have a thing going, they'll never see this coming, and like you guys go, "It's this," and I'm like, "Fuck," but I can't rewrite it because it'll break the story. And they go, "I knew it." They get all smug, so it's one of those things. Let's see here. I had something alert on my phone, and now I can't find it. What kind of kit do UAA combat engineers get? How are they deployed, and what is their role in modern combat? Yeah, so they are void bees. So she says sea bees here, but they are the void bees. They are combat engineers. They do combat engineer shit. They explode things. They build things. They build bases. They're kind of like little worker bees, But in terms of kit, they get standard upper armor, helmet. But instead of like having a combat belt, they have a giant fucking tool belt. And so with the void bees, Riddy has that servo arm that holds your MG-111. The void bees get 2 of those. They just hold tools and do shit. So they get this pretty cool little servo arm thing on their belt. They can hold like welders, or they can kind of like hold onto it to a ratchet or a bolt. So they have a kind of like a little builder belt. But you haven't met them yet, but that's what they're going to be pretty much. Non-romance Waffengeist story. In the Veil Rider, what kind of ranking structure do the Veil Riders and auxiliaries have? If I remember, they have. Yeah, so they don't have officer ranks. They have called an NCO and a primary NCO. Where if it will be an NCO, NCOs must be combat proven. So basically, an NCO must see combat, whether against a proper military force or in the eradication of local pests like goblins. An NCO, the ones to be a primary, must go like lead units, must be in the field. And once a primary slot is needed, an NCO from the Joes is then made primary. So they're given a gold border around their rank patch, and they're going in to do the admin stuff. So like a first lieutenant would go and do stuff. Now a staff sergeant primary goes and does that stuff. Prejudice? Maybe. Do I care? No. All right. If fairy rounds shriek by getting compressed, could you use explosives to force a shriek? If fairy rounds shriek by getting compressed, could you use explosives to force? I guess you could use the clap of 2 pressure waves to cause a shriek. That'd be tricky. You have to have it set up to where 2 pressure waves hit at the same time on a fairy round, and that would cause a shriek. But okay, I'm gonna say yes, but it's a very difficult thing to pull off. What are the minimum ages of serving military for other races in DPG? Other races? Oh goodness, it would depend on the race, I guess. Like for the Kafia, it'd be middle-aged. Pwa, middle-aged. Logarans, young age. I mean, I have to go in and write cultural things on it. Like, for instance, those of you who are new here, for the Veil Riders, I do race, like race blurbs for all the races. I have to go in and probably do race blurbs for all the fucking coffee and all the DPG cultures. Yay, more writing to do. Put it on the pile. I got so much shit to write. It's why I'm paying Dravos to do editing for me, because I'm like, hey Dravos, I'll pay you $80. Just make the video, please, because it saves me so, like, instead of spending 4 to 5 hours editing a video, I can spend that shit writing. You know, he can do the video for me. How were drop pods dropped before the Murphy class? You know those it's my favorite sci-fi trope. You know, like those tubes for like escape, like the escape pods. They go when they launch out of a ship. That's kind of how it was. They would kind of load these pods in these giant tubes and go poop, and just kind of poop out a fucking drop pod. Because, you know, drop pods are heavy, they're bulky, so you got to put them somewhere in the ship, and usually you got to put them like a, you know, you got to put them in somewhere, and you kind of get a path for them to get outside the ship. So you kind of like have this big tube, and launch in the tube. But you know, it's one of those things where it's not having a big ass tube to poop out a drop pod is not as spine tingling as having the whole rack kind of fold out and kind of drop all at once. Did heavy onslaught infantry exist before drop pods? They did. They did. They were just they were dropped in very few numbers because they're heavy as fuck, and they were dropped alongside with regs. So they'd ride down the ships, and they would be by the doors. So the dropship comes down and lands, and the door drops, and the onslaught come out first and kind of take on the first wave. Voidborn? What are voidborn? Like people born in space? Okay, Flash and Fuse. Are you a furry? No, I'm not a furry. Do you think you can defeat the furry allegations? This is a joke. Please don't be mad at me. No, I am not a furry. I have no fursona. I have no furry name. I've been invited to a few furry cons because DPG, you know how it is. I might. I waffle on it quite a bit. If I had enough merch, I would go to a furry convention and hang out with you fucking freaks. But like, I want to have a bunch of stickers and pins though. Like, you know, you go to a furry con, have your table, you have your stickers, your pins, and your keychains, and maybe that'd be kind of fun. I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't know. Like. my fucking throat's dry from talking for nearly 2 hours. Like, I don't hate furries. You know, y'all kind of y'all give me money, so I can't hate you too much. There are a lot of odd things at fur cons I've read about, but that terrify the fuck out of me. Like, I don't know why you have so many adult diapers at furry cons, but not like I don't hate furries. Like, it's one of those things where my Discord is full of people from all fucking walks of life and weird, you know, discretions. So it's one of those things. Like say a super hot furry girl was into me, I'd be fine with it, because like, it's better than dying alone. That's some of those things you gotta wait. Let's see, date a furry girl or die alone. I'd rather not die alone. I don't know, got me crazy. Print merch? Yeah, probably could. I think opening the door helped the thing stabilize. Let's see. Dove 9016. What are you doing? What happened? What? Oh. Weird. Dude, what? What happened here? What was this one? What happened here? What was this question? Rule 4. What the hell? Ban on Starbound. Keep it civil. Oh yeah, so Larissa went back to Starbound. So more or less that's out of the bag now. Larissa is now voicing for Starbound again because she had a lot of bills crop up. A lot of medical bills. And to the shock of none, he signed her to an exclusivity deal for sci-fi. So that was what it is. Man. Ugh. Okay, so Dove. What does the rest of the world look like outside of the UAA and EUC? Are there mega nations in Africa, Asia, Oceania, Australia, and South America? And will we be seeing or having any of them mentioned in the future? So I mentioned Australia, don't I? I just wanted to mention Australia. Australia. I don't. Oh. Huh. Well, let's see. What was that world map? Map of Earth. Thank you very much for that. Okay. Man, right. Let's see. She needs money? Yeah, she needs money. I mean, it's one of those things where I could be like, how dare you, grr, but she had a lot of medical bills. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Not gonna hurt my feelings at all. I don't own Larissa. Like, she can go do what she wants to. We're still friends. We still talk and everything. It's like, you know, it's just, it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta work for what you don't want to do and for what you need. That's what it is. What's chat say? Yeah, Jasmine. Unfortunately, Haley does not have a really good Latin American accent, but it is what it is. You know, it's one of those things. I like how Rue nailed Whirler so well that people asked if I had hired the voice actor, the VA for fucking Pinkie Pie. That's pretty funny. But okay, so the question was, okay, so you know EUC here. So the EUC, which had a good draw on this. EUC is now like has control of this and kind of around here. And then China's part of the EUC, the remnants of China, and Australia is part of the EUC. While the UAA is mostly the mega continent of North and South America, and then parts of over here. There's some countries over here who are part of the UAA. But the thing is, there's no bad blood, all right? There's no bad blood between the UAA and the EUC. People keep asking me that. There's no, these are two human controlling agencies that know they know what's up. It's so we think about it. It's no longer human v. It's human v Uber all this. Like it's humans knowing that they can't fight themselves. There are worse things out there, but you can't control the entire world. That's difficult. So they have two different kinds of controlling entities that control certain aspects of the world itself. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know where Australia is. Hold on. You know where Australia is. You know, hey guys, what's this side of the map? You know where it is. But yeah, so there's no bad blood. The UAA and the EUC work together. However, the graffiti said we like that one better, and I was like, what? You know, it would be like having two brothers, right? But a new friend goes, yeah, but I like that brother better, and other brothers like rib each other about it, you know, because you know the EUC still uses UAA ships. You know, it's like it's one of those things where like, yeah, well, I like that brother better. Like, what the fuck? And anyway, he goes, they chose me, not you. You know, it's very much a human ribbing kind of thing going on. Does the UN? No, the UN is gone. The UN is now the EUC. There's no more UN. There's simply the combined governmental agencies of Earth. That's the UAA and the EUC. Now the thing is, they both can be dealt with separately because you know they are two different kind of cultures when you think about it. You know, UAA basically you're comparing North and South American culture versus European culture. So like Jafidi chose UAA, new race could choose the EUC because they like them better. That's a possible thing. But the thing is, the UAA and EUC are like never gonna fight each other. You know, like because they're all still humans. Like, well, you know, that's just what they handle that side of planet. We handle this side of planet. Yeah, exactly. Cloud River. Exactly. Japan is part of the UAA. All right, Jasmine, I'm gonna try and get you a different kind of invite. How do I do? Invite people. Invite link. Hours. Generate new link. Copy. Try this new link. It might work for you. Anyways, American now. But yeah, it's one of those things where they had a choice, and they're already Japan and America are already fucking allies at the beginning, so they join UAA. Not a real hard thinker there. Okay. While the UAA still uses less warships, gunpowder, projectile weapons, have they tried or more willing to adapt, create, modify human-grade laser and gospel? So if you remember in the XJ1 series, they use lasers to destroy ground-to-air munitions. So they use lasers. It's just at the current time, they're currently masters of projectile weapons. Now, Gauss weapons are Gauss. Not plasma, is it? I believe one of the other races uses Gauss weapons. It's one of those things where it's one, you know, humans say to themselves, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But they do use they use lasers, they use missiles. It's just what's the best tool for that particular scenario. Do they use light gas guns? Shipment. Light gas guns. What are light gas guns? But yeah, so some of the other races I've said before, they use like Gauss or electromagnets and that kind of shit. But with UA, they go, well, you know, this works really well. It's worked for now. It works now. No point in really fucking with it. But they use like lasers and missiles to help, you know, kind of support the rest of their weapons. So yes, they look into different things, but you gotta remember it's also logistics. A lot of sci-fi series don't really do this. They don't really look into what it would take to power a ship-sized Gauss or railgun. Like if you're having to shut your ship off to fire this giant electromagnetic weapon, well, it's not really as good as I load a shell, whack, and the shell flies out. Like it's all about military proficiency. Because sure, having a giant railgun-sized ship would be really cool, but if you hit with an EMP or your power goes out, you can't fire your gun. If you're in a giant human combat ship and you get hit with a huge-ass EMP, aliens think, yeah, we did it. They can, and their gun goes and still fires. It adds redundancy. What a lot of people who have been in the military and have, it's all about redundancy. Can X work if Y happens? Can X work if Z happens? And if you're in a giant battleship and then some alien prick thinks they can turn off your power and get you, and you can still operate your cannons, you're going to catch them off guard. You can go, okay, hold on, wait. They think we're dead. Let's wait. And their ship comes in. Like, okay, they're 200 yards out. Open fire. And a huge broadside just decimates your enemy. It's that kind of redundancy you really want to have in the military. Hand crank, yeah. It's fucking. Imagine thinking you've sir, we've disabled a human ship. All right, let's go board them. You see a giant cannon that's slowly turning and tracking you. Oh, dude, piss yourself. How thick was the metal in an skull? About half an inch thick. They're pretty hardcore. The avians made themselves into weapons and put as much steel as they could where they could, make them harder to kill. You know. Well, exactly. So remember, Grofile, on the UAA ships, there are turret blisters like here. So say they want to do a full broadside, this long ship just goes like skirt and turns, and suddenly all these turrets go and lock on place, and so you can show a very slim profile and expose these massive fucking 50-inch turrets. I do think about stuff sometimes. A little bit. I think about it a little bit. Let's see here. I believe it's plain unrealistic for humanity to not embrace the fascination with them. Well, of course, like lasers. I already said they use lasers and all that, and they use torpedoes, but they use like actual torpedoes. Like they use actual torpedoes. It's not like fire the phaser torpedoes. This thing of light pops out. They're firing an actual fucking rocket-propelled torpedo. To me, it's fun to go, all right, fire torpedo tube 1 and 2, and a actual torpedo goes whoop and launches out into space. It makes me smile, you know? Because sir, they're kind of resistant to these our guns. Sure, fire one of those fucking torpedoes at them, and you see this fucking rod of death get launched out of a fucking ship. It makes me smile. It makes me smile. It's not really a stagnant place, Dove. It's more of it's what worked at the time. They utilize lasers when needed, like again with XJ1, these lasers to destroy ground-to-air weaponry. They use lasers to kind of take out enemy missiles. Like say, like on the Moose itself, there are a ton of countermeasures. There are sea whizzes, but also little laser blisters that kind of go and they just blaze a thing. But they're all in the moment. Because think about it. If you're having a huge power draw, you can't use your lasers. You gotta use the sea whiz. However, if power allows, you can click on your fucking laser and just blip a laser. Or blip a missile. It's all about what can we use in the moment where everything can work. It's a balanced orchestra and ballet of weaponry that they have to keep their minds on when they're doing this. And it's why Star Trek is not really realistic to me. So like in Star Trek, you're firing these photon torpedoes and fucking lasers, pow, pow, and you have to power your shields and also move. Like, where's that power coming from? There's no fucking way, dude. Can the Copians and the UAA/Earth militaries have steel cap dentures as sort of a last resort weapon when all else fails? I feel like that will be an interesting piece of kit unique to them that would feed into their candid, possible feloned aspects of their... I don't see why not. Kind of like how K9s get those titanium caps. I don't see why not. Actually, it's a pretty fun idea. Just type it down. Doop-a-doop-doop-doop-doo. Let's see. Are there any Kaffians who know the whole of the old Kaffian religion, or has it been completely shattered? Okay, so this is a big lore thing. It's been extremely suppressed. We're talking like hundreds of years of suppression. Not just, this isn't like a decade. This is hundreds of years of cultural suppression. So it's been completely shattered, and it's only these whispered rumors of these things that or things carried orally. So oral tradition on the fringe planets keeps some aspects of the old Kaffian religion existent. So it's been, hardcore shattered. Zero, Delgado, 0. Let's do a quick refresh. Any other questions? New. There are some new ones. Myonkoi. How does family dynamics work in the UAA? Can alien UAA citizens adopt human children? No. Can a fallen soldier with their child will their child to a family member? Yes, they can. Is it okay if we get questions during here to stream? Yes. But no. So only human UAs can adopt human children, and it's an unsure factor of can a alien species handle a human, because humans do things. Humans can kind of like humans are stronger than most aliens. Humans are more clever. Humans are more devious. Humans' breath does shit. It's more of like a that's not safe. Let's not do that. So no, they can't adopt human children. And yes, they can will their child to a family member. Yes, Jasmine. Jasmine asked about cybernetics, and yes, there are. I mean, they have spaceships. They have forearms, arms, spines, hips, legs, calves, lower leg, feet, ears, teeth, skull, and artificial organ replacements. So there's a huge, robust, like the medical facilities on Earth are above and beyond anything that most species can even think of. Like the human medical system is like just it's like wonder tech to some species. Like they grew a heart, you know, and they do it like that, whack, and they go, okay, here you go. And it's one of those things where most aliens didn't even think about it. Like, you know, you shouldn't get sick, don't bitch, you know that. And like when you think about it, and again, you're gonna ask me, well, why can't these other aliens have, you know, hearts and arms and shit, when there are probably, you know, 300 billion of you? No one's gonna care if you're hurt or not. There are 800 billion other, or I don't know, 100 billion or whatever else, other Kafia or Pwa. Oh, your arm hurts? No one gives a shit. Just fucking die. There's more to replace you with. And they're thinking, well, why should we waste resources on some fucking dickhead who's got a bad heart? Who cares? You know, like that is the alien mentality. Again, you're gonna ask, well, why is that? It's because I wrote the book. Like, not to be mean, but like I wrote the book. That's how their cultures act, and their cultures act that way for whatever culture reason that I thought of. It's not putting you down in any way. It's just that's how their cultures are, and they're that way because I made it up. So, like the Kafia and the Pwa and the Logara don't have a high value on life because there's a shit ton of them, and it was a roll. I know I roll a d20, wherever my little d20 went. When I write these books, so I go chicka whack, and I roll, and where they roll up is how they think about certain things, and you know, none of them roll high on valuing life. And when you think about it, it does make sense, because if you have 300 billion Pwa, who cares about one little Pwa whose heart don't work? That's how it is. It's gonna be like, well, you know, a lot more of us than are of you, and it sucks your heart stopped working, but bye, you know, because it's not a big thing. Meanwhile, humans treat all, you know, again, humans in this book treat all life as sacred, because they came so close to being annihilated. They like, let's keep this life good to go. It's why on Goldilocks they're rebuilding the ecosystem. Like, okay, let's bring back the predators and the prey, you know, get the bugs back, because to them, that to a human, that means something. They want to have that thing back, and like, this is what your place is, and this is your life, this is where you're born. Go and do your thing. And it's why, like, if a Pwa has a bad heart, he goes, well, I'm going to human space. So, like, say a Pwa, he goes, man, my heart's failing, and they know that no one here fucking cares, because, like, well, there's, you know, 800 billion more. So if Paul the Bad Heart's going to hop in his ship, he's going to fly to human space, whether it's Goldilocks, a station, or Earth itself, and go, hey, my heart's failing. And I go, oh, hey, no problem. It'll be about 400 credits. You pay 400 credits, and they literally make you a new heart. And you go, here you go, let's get you into an operating room, and they cut you open and put your heart inside. It's a whole mentality, and it's why the Scalathir And these other races really like humans because they go, you know, like they're like the Kojin and their masks. Like well, humans have this law where they can't discuss things. Like no other race in this setting is go, well, you know, no other race is going to go, well, I'm not going to tell folks about this because you know it's cool. I'm gonna tell folks what your face looks like. I'm gonna tell folks that you have like, you know, 3 penises or some shit. Well, human goes, hey, that's me and you. That's confidentiality, and you're safe with me. And it's that humans take things much more seriously than than the other races. So like when some races will leave a quadriplegic die, humans go, we'll just give you a new pair of arms and legs and call it a day. How's it sound? You know, like, hey, can you afford the material costs? All right, well, let's get you in this fucking doctor's office and get you, because, you know, if you think about it, if you have, you know, massive places in space and you're able to mine asteroids and mine, you're still mining Mars, material costs go way down. You know what I mean? It's like going in and carving out a guy on a table is like, you know, will cost you maybe like maybe 400 credits for a new heart, maybe 1,000 credits for the operation, and you're good to go. And here's your overnight stay. We'll keep you under observation. You know, human hospitals are this mythical thing. Human doctors are like this mythical creature where, like, yeah, you can go and talk to them and they'll fix you, and they won't discuss it with anybody. That's what makes the human culture so alien in DPG in the DPG series. Not always, Grow File. Not always. Remember, I have plus and minuses to all things in my series. It's why there are always drawbacks. Like humans are really cool, but they're also easily spited. You piss off a human, and the humans in general, they're going to eradicate your fucking species. How much influence does humanity have abroad or amongst? Oh, so yeah, how much influence? A lot. They have a lot of influence. Humans are seen as an extremely kind but dangerous species. So, like, it's one of those things where, like, you know, like they know with humanity they're very kind, but you don't make them angry, and most of all, you don't let humans know. You don't let humans know about your atrocities. That's a big thing in the series. You don't let humans know about your atrocities because humans don't like atrocities. Even now, we don't like atrocities. Imagine having the power to go, hey, we notice you're having a bit of a culling on your planet here, and we don't chive with that. And suddenly these ships come out of nowhere. So, yeah, so one of the things where, like, their influence is both positive and negative. Do any of the human AIs take part in active combat? Yes, they do. As you remember in XJ1, there were AIs piloting the mules. So AI will take care of like anti-missile operate like on the C230s, those lasers being fired. The lasers being fired were being piloted by AI. They're targeting the rockets. They're piloting the mules. They're operating drones. They operate security systems. So they're in active combat systems all the damn time. All right, I need to go to the bathroom real quick. So I'm gonna let you all sit here for a second while I go empty my bladder. I'm back. Did I miss anything? Did humans fight on any IDC world? Yeah, for sure. They fought on a lot of IDC worlds. During the War, mostly. The were fucking everywhere. So, a lot of IDC worlds got a lot of human flak. Okay. So right now, I got some Discord questions. M14, okay. Sorry, I'm reading questions. It's going to give me a second. In Optimum Prime, no, they cannot. What is my favorite dinosaur? God, okay. What's that called? An Ankylosaurus. That's what it is. The fucking Warhammer, the Warhammer butt. Yeah, my favorite dinosaur is an Ankylosaurus. They have the, these guys. Premium dinosaur right here. Absolutely. I don't know. I like the fact that, like, they have a club on their tail. It's like, so what's your defense weapon? I have a club I beat things to death with. Like, wow, okay. Okay, let me look through the Discord here. No, Discord, chat. Any, Now, if you're on Twitch, or if you're on X/Twitter, I cannot see your questions, unfortunately. So if a species does get humans angry enough, they'll just start wiping out civilian populations as well as military. They'll not really wipe out. It's more like they'll probably go with the government first. But if if the population is more like say the race is like a packless situation, they'll probably wipe them out. Yeah. Because when you think about it, you know, there's not really a lot of room for being lenient or merciful in the grand scheme of space. So if humans declare you an evil species or like an evil species or an evil race, they're probably going to wipe you out to the fucking man and just eradicate you from existence, just to keep them and the universe safe. Now I could have sworn they're. Oh no, that's right. They were somewhere else. They were in, this one, and this one, and this one. Okay. General Oith questions. I think we covered a lot of these. Yeah, so we answered a lot of these questions already. So Zynan answered these already. I saw some other ones in here that were quite interesting questions. Okay, we answered those. Ship sizes, we answered. They are fucking huge. And again, to balance out, you know, because I love having, you know, drawbacks to things. Humans made their ships super strong, super heavily armored, super heavily armed, but they have to stay in space. Like to counter a human ship, drag it in the atmosphere, watch it crash. You know, because like they're just too damn heavy. Let's see here. This is also Zynan. So we answered a lot of these questions. Pretty certain. Shiftless Guardian. With the amount of people and food involved, it makes me wonder if they have some sort of hydroponics or greenery bay. I fully believe each ship should be able to be self-sufficient for a limited time and space if needs arose. When they're describing the ship, my mind pictured the unbroken pre-void jump version of the... Oh, Warframe. So, the ships themselves, they're not hydroponic. They just have big-ass fucking refrigerators. Like, it's going to sound dumb, but they are American, so they need at least 4 years of chicken nuggies and french fries on their fucking ships. So a lot of the ship is a big-ass fucking refrigerator to keep things cold and stored. Because, as everyone knows, a ship runs on sailors, and sailors run on their stomachs. So they have just big-ass fucking storage areas for cold storage and dry storage, as well as goods. Because, again, these ships are so large because when they make land, like spacefall, voidfall outside of a planet, they're also a commerce hub. I wrote the Moose and other capital ships to be like giant, heavily armed malls, where if they make voidfall outside of a friendly city, civilians can come on deck and shop. They're like, yo, it's the Moose. I'm getting a sweater. They're getting their ship up to the fucking Moose. So and I got the idea from Mortal Engines. There's a my mind is blanking. No, Airhaven. There's a place called Airhaven in Mortal Engines. The book, the movie sucks. The movie sucks. Read the books. But Airhaven is a gigantic stronghold city, but also it's a commercial port. And then every traction city has an airship dock. So I want to be like that the Moose is this huge, gargantuan, fucking formidable capital ship. It can make voidfall and support an entire invasion force, but also there's a mall inside and a Jamba Juice. Like, to me that seems like a really funny take on the capital battleship. Like, yeah, we're a vessel of war. Also, we got a hot topic. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's just like, to see the Moose appear outside of its skip, and it shows with this huge fleet. The planet can go, oh no, or oh, it's time to shop, and they can go fly up to it. That to me seems more fun of an idea. Let's see here. But yeah, not really hydroponics, more just a really good freezer. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if someone the Moose decided to grow vegetables. Say you wanted fresh greens, like lettuces. That could never be a thing. But that's more of a, does the ship want to do that? And say the capital ship wanted to have fresh greens for its burgers or whatever have you. They could dedicate one of the warehouses to grow. It's one of those things where it can change either way, and also gives each ship an identity. Like the Moose is all about dinosaur nuggets and French fries, but another ship maybe like, well, we do fresh produce on our ship. They have a lot of warehouses designed to make hydroponics. So it's more of an option than a needs must kind of thing. Strategic Burger King deployment, absolutely. Yeah, so St. Anne is going through it's fucking going through it. Okay, no more. Ooh. Yeah, again, I don't really like how, it's gonna sound like sacrilege, but I didn't like how Star Trek did their ships. I think Star Trek had made a major bungle on how they did their ship. That's my opinion. I don't like Star Trek ships. I don't like how perfect they are. Like, oh, we can just, use a machine and it makes a burger for you. Like, it's just like, there's too many positives and not enough negatives. All right, negatives add realism to everything. Okay, this is one where let's talk about skipping. So to skip, the scale of this book. Let's see, Milky Way map. This is all set in the Milky Way because I could not deal with it and do a whole other fucking galaxy. One's more than enough, I think. No, one galaxy is more than enough. There's no need to put in another fucking galaxy in this fucking furball of a mess. Okay, so here is the Milky Way, and we are here, right? There's the sun, the Gould Belt. Now double check our location. Earth's position in the Milky Way. On a map, please. Yes, so we're here. This is our place. Now, this all happens in an arm. Now, when I say arm, I mean one of the spiraling arms of the Milky Way. So this is all happening in one of the arms. So like the Perseus arm, the Norma outer arm, they're all still unknown. They're too far away. Don't want to fuck with it. So this is all happening in one. Okay, oh, hold on. This is all happening in one arm of the Milky Way. Come around here. I believe this is called the Sagittarius arm. So this is all happening in the Sagittarius arm of the Milky Way. You see how it kind of starts here, comes down, and so this is all where this book happens, in one arm of the Milky Way. And that's simply to keep it simple. They kind of pop into this kind of area here, but it's more or less kind of all here in one arm of the Milky Way, because it's mapped. It's kind of like you kind of map it out. Level bright, yeah. But yes, this is all kind of where it happens. And I would say, just for sake of argument, you could say this circle here is honestly the main area where it happens. You know, it's all mostly happening in this arm of the Milky Way right here. Because think of all the planets and the suns, all is here. Like, that's a lot of, like, it doesn't look like much looking at it here, right? It's like, oh, it's like what, like 4 planets? There are millions of planets just in this little section of the galaxy, dude. It's ridiculous. And it's so hard to put into words. Like what it is. It's just, I don't know, like, but that kind of shows that, you know, a little area, a little pie slice of what it is. Tori. But I figured, you know, in terms of scale, this is more than enough, right? This is more than enough. Even in just visual range, like say we just did visual range, that's more than enough. And trying to find humans in all this shit would be hard enough. All right, there's no point in trying to like the entire galaxy. There's no, that's too much. That's how many races? That's how many planets? That's so many things, and I don't think people really realize how many planets are in just the naked eye limit. I mean, and like, so I chose this arm because it's where we are. We are in the Sagittarius arm of the Milky Way, and then just general area, and that should be more than enough. Yeah, and of course, you know, me being myself, I'm being very aloof with skipping, which skipping I have found a better analogy for what it is. So back to the thing. We'll go in order here. So Jareth and Zenon are kind of talking about, and so is Flash and Fuse about, you know, scope and scale and how fast. But I'm a little prick. Okay, so I invented skipping because I like having drawbacks to really cool things, you know, and I believe yeah, here we go. I believe someone know the math to it. But again, I want to make it be a little ruder, and there's actually a variable in here, and that's how hard you hit the skip stream, not slipstream, the skip stream. So picture, if you will, via means unknown and whatever else, they figure out that this thing, this other dimension is going super fast, hundreds of thousands of times the speed of light, you know, that kind of shit. It's super fast stream of something that goes. And they realize that, hey, if we hit that, we can kind of go and kind of like wow, and kind of catch a bit of that speed. So I figured out a better analogy for it. Picture a treadmill going full speed, and now picture, you know, you throwing a rock on it. And the rock goes whack, and this takes, like, say you have a treadmill, whoa, going fast. You throw like a, I don't know, like a fucking toddler on, like, say you throw a toddler on a fully running treadmill. Toddler goes wah, and flies off because he's hitting something going very, 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 very fast. And it accelerates him into a wall, but still it accelerates him. So my idea is that skipping is them hitting something going super, you're a psychopath. It's the skipping is where they tear a hole with a device and kind of hit this thing. And when they hit that thing, it is rockets them flying off towards, you know, flying off in space on this pre-planned route. They know it's going to be clear. Now when they do that, they're going skip because they're constantly, because they, you know, picture like a really, really long treadmill, right? It's like picture a mile-long treadmill. Each step you take, boom, boom, you're hitting that treadmill and going swat, swat. You're losing speed, gaining speed. You know, you're losing speed, gaining speed, losing speed, gaining. Let's do it like here. So you come on, you hit, you're gaining speed. Wow, you're losing speed, you're gaining speed. So you're constantly like skipping along this treadmill, right? Well, as you're hitting this treadmill, the baby treadmill analogy, yeah, I know. It's like you're constantly hitting it, but what builds up during this? Friction builds up. So this little shield thing, this what do I call it? The reaction around your ship. You have your doohickey wizard on. I have a name for it, the thing. But so you won't get torn apart by the speed. You're kind of hugging and skipping off this fucking thing, this thing that's in space. We tore a hole and we're hitting it, and we go really fast when we hit it. But over time, friction is building. It's friction and heat. So you can't just skip forever. You're going to catch your fucking ship on fire, or you're going to, you know, explode. So you skip and you skip and you skip. Now the entire time you're going 200 times speed of light, then maybe 100, and then 50, and then boom, big hit, 300. Wow, I hit it real hard. So it's a variable time hit, and I think. Now, it's very frustrating for numberheads. I get that. But it does add a nice element of randomness, right? Like, say you hit a slow slip. You're going, skew, skew, skew. It's not very fast. It takes longer to get where you're going. Or you get lucky and you just hit a huge fucking speeding skip stream. Wow! It just rockets you into the space. It adds like an air of mystery of, well, we're going to go as hard as we can for as fast as we can and hope that we get a good slip. It's kind of like, I'm trying to find that balance of, well, the winds aren't very powerful today, so we might get there a few days late. You know, it's like humans went from sailing with ships with sails and wind and boats to like going into space, but there's still that speed variable. Well, is it a fast skip or a slow skip today? Let's find out. Like one day you might hit a skip, you're going 500 times the speed of light, boom, and the next hit, bing, you're going like 100, boom, and you kind of slow down. You know, it's it seems more fun to me. It adds that element of the unknown, of maybe the wind's blowing real hard today. Maybe you catch the enemy off guard because you had a really fast skip and they didn't. Maybe you catch someone because their skip was slow, but your skip was fast. It adds that really cool aspect to it, that cool randomness aspect. Yes, in essence. So more or less, they all travel the same hole, And so like with on XJ1, the moose makes this rip, and then it's while all the ships kind of hugging close to the moose. That way they're all in that exact same kind of slip. They go and they launch together. It's one of those things where like if you were to look out, you're like say at a viewing window, right? And you look out the viewing window mid skip, you see all these ships around you looking like they're standing still while lights are streaking past you, and you see like the flash and glow and streak of like yellow planets, blue planets, red planets, and of course, the thing is though, as you're going, now what I find fascinating is the idea that if you look out the window while you're skipping, so like in Star Wars or Star Trek, it's a constant speed of light. You see the streaks constant. In my setting, it would go whoa, wow, whoa, wow, because the light would elasticate due to the skips. Like it would go spread out long and then come down and hit whack. So basically, it'd be like an ovulating scale of light because you're slowing down and speeding up so much. So it's one of those things where I like having drawbacks. I like having randomness. I like having things that add realism to the thing. Things can't be too perfect. Perfect things aren't entertaining. And things that are too rough or too slow, well, then it slows down the story. So you gotta find this good middle place and everything where it all kind of comes together. Yeah, Astray, I know. It's just, but one thing where like, it would be funny if some alien found a treadmill. All right, like the way I say it is, an alien found a treadmill and went, that treadmill's going super fucking fast. If I were to hit that, I would explode. Can I stabilize my ship when I hit it to kind of kept some of that speed? And they kind of work off that. They work off that kind of thing where, well, if I tear a hole in space-time and find that treadmill again, because they kind of found that little quadrant, if I put in the numbers, find that treadmill, tear it open and hit it, and put on this shield thing I made, it should keep me safe. And they go, wow, and okay, we're safe. We went a long fucking way, but we got a lot of heat. Can I get the heat to kind of disperse? Can I make the shield? They work through these actual variables. And to me, that sounds more fun. But it's one of those things where I think the better, like, so at first I said it was like a rock skipping on water, but I think the treadmill analogy makes far more sense. If you throw a toddler onto a mile-long treadmill, make him run. But no, I think treadmill is a better way to explain it. So in that way, you guys can have your math still. You go, okay, well, if you can still math it out. There's still that fun little variable. So in essence, like Cynan and Flash and Fuse, you are and also Jareth, you're all now cartographers on a ship going, well, if we go from here to here, it'll take 14 days. But that depends on the wind. And now you have the exact same problem. You have the exact same seafaring problem. Like, well, if the winds are fast, we get there in 13. If the winds are slow, we'll get there in 19. You know, it's that fun little thing of you better hope the winds are at your back, or you might hit dead wind. You know, it's that fun variable, and I love that shit. I know some authors don't like it; they want things to be perfect, and you hit a button and you're going exactly 500 light years per second or some bullshit. But I don't like that. It's not fun to me. It goes, oh, you have a safe form of transportation. Okay. I guess that's what you want. You know what I mean? It's just not very fun to me. Here's a new roll road thing, by the way. Post that in Discord as well. Everyone help support the new Royal Road page. But yeah, like I just like to have that variation, that randomness to it. That's what I want. I want to give sci-fi that same seafarer's unknowingness. Well, if the space sirens sing well, but I get 400, you know, that kind of shit. And maybe have any what? Have any mechs? No. So grow file. So grow file as Mion says, I'm not a big mech fan. Mechs make no sense. I'm gonna tell you why. You have a really cool mech growth file, like, oh, this mech is awesome, and then some asshole blows your knee out with a fucking cannon, then your entire tank's useless. I just don't like mechs. The only mechs that made sense were the gun mechs. There was a type of mech that was on treads. A certain Gundam. God damn it. Yeah, the NG gun tank. The RX-75 made sense. All right. RX-75 made sense. All right. It had arms and cannons, also had treads. You couldn't knock it over, had a wide wheelbase. That made sense. That made sense. The other ones, no fucking sense. Now, even then, the Zaku's made some kind of, because Zaku's were big and bulky. Zaku's were big, bulky, stout mechs. They weren't too tall. But even then, Zaku's for me, a Zaku is pushing it. It takes one well-placed like tank round to a kneecap or a hip joint, and your fucking tank's useless. It's just, I don't know. I've never been a big fan of mechs. I think we're getting a sub up to Mr. Aaron Wilbur. Diesel Knight. Interesting. Spider mechs make a little more sense, but at the same time, you're gonna run out of legs eventually. In space, so Grofile, you say that, but Outlaw Star actually made peak design of that. So Outlaw Star had fighters with arms on it. Like, if a spaceship has arms, it really need legs. Marauders. Marauders. Man, I don't play enough games. No. Cowboy Bebop had a grappler arm on some of their boats, but Outlaw Star kind of led the way on ships with arms. But yeah, so more or less, I think I think I found, again, I'm constantly trying, I'm always tweaking my settings in little places. What's up? Oh. Okay, go ahead. But yeah, so I think tweaking it to be a space variable system for skipping, to where you're hoping you hit that track really hard and get a good push, you know, and you might hit it fast, might hit it slow, but it adds that fun little variable that adds, it can add suspense. It can add a boon wind, you know, and I like that. I like that concept, because think about it, with Star Wars, their light speed ships, you go in hyperspace, and it was a set speed. That's what your engine could handle. Star Trek engine could handle a certain kind of speed. It's all very clean system, and they never really explain how it works. With me, it's going, well, they found a thing and they're hitting it. At least that sounds somewhat more plausible. Like, hey, we found this weird fucking like dimension where if we hit it really hard, we go really fast. You know, like, to me, it sounds kind of more realistic than going, yeah, well, we have this dilithium crystal engine and then we turn it on and we go zoom. It's like, well, okay, that makes, I guess. Well, mine's like, we found this thing. If we punch it real hard, we go really fast. You know, it just sounds. What's up, me? So me on. Oh, what is it? And yes, Rofile, they are in power armor. What's your Waffen guys question? Exactly, trade wind. That's the term. Thank you, Banto. Trade wind. Yeah. No, Mion, they would not. So Mion on a Waffengeist, they take the form they are chosen to take from the creation and forging. They don't take a form by choice. They are given a form. Now, if they're given a form that matches their child, that's pretty fucked up and kind of unlucky. But that'd be more luck of the draw kind of thing. But yeah, trade wind. That's the fun bit. Where like you hit a real good wind, because I lay in bed at night. I listen to Mortal Engines. I hear about like the bird roads, and like, well, you got a real good strong wind the bird roads. We got here the whole day. Like, what had the bird road for space? And also make it kind of funny. Like they don't know what is this thing? I don't know, but it's fucking booking, and like they can't penetrate. Like they can open a window to it and hit it, but they can't penetrate that wall of this other dimension. Like, well, we can't penetrate the dimension and see what it is, but we can ride it. So they're riding a fucking dimension through space because they can't get into it. And that just seems more fun to me. It seems more fun. And it allows a math. Look at the math Jareth on this fucking shit, dude. And it allows you guys to do the math, but still have that variable. Well, they had a really hard skip. So, that kind of shit. Look at the math you did. My God. So it allows some hand wavium, but still set in they hit it at this speed, and then they hit it at that speed. What's deep profile? You laugh, but this is so. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the cork on this, because you guys are here, and I'm getting kind of tired. My voice hurts. But more or less, if you read Emily Bronze, which I'm redoing Emily Bronze. If you read Emily Bronze, you realize what's going on, and all of these things are spiderwebbed. But you're going to figure out what causes the spider web in the Veil Riders. So that's like that's like a major spoiler for you guys. You realize what's going on in Emily Bronze and why humans are the way they are, but you realize what happens to that universe in the Veil Riders. I like having connecting stories. I'm just retarded like that. Sorry. It's just how I am. More or less, there are FTL communications. More or less is that all the messages, so all the messages going out get stored in one place. And when the ship's slowing down to skip, when it hits, boink, they go, and they launch those. So it's basically, it's a huge timing thing. So all these emails or whatever get stored in one little place. As the ship's slowing down, they get ready, and it goes, doink, they launch, and they launch the messages out into space to get relayed. So it's kind of like, and it goes skip, they're going send. So it's kind of like a squall where we gotta wait for the calm, send message before you go watch it back off again. So there is FTL comms. It's just all about timing. Isn't okay? Hold on. Has anyone actually proved quantum entanglement? Have you gone through Lightspeed and trying to send an email? This is one of those things where, like, oh, quantum entanglement. Has anyone actually proved that shit? Has anyone sent an email while in Lightspeed? No, no one has. To me, until something is proven, it's a theory. All right. Like, someone thought of quantum entanglement. No one's gone. No one at the current time has gone to light speed and sent an email. No one has. This is a fucking theory. It's all it is. I don't believe that until someone goes to light speed, tries to send a thing or try and prove this, it's a fucking theory to me. Like, it's called a phenomenon, but like, it's just like, until you go and do it, I don't want to hear about it. Until someone goes light speed and sends a fucking email, I don't do my own thing. All right. In essence, so in essence, it's one of those things where they are everywhere and they are everywhere, nowhere, and anywhere. They are a digital thing. So like, say an AI wants to go and pilot a mule in a combat zone, the more it's kind of go, they just go and they lengthen out. So you'll have like one part of them on the moon, and they send themselves through to pilot a thing. That self comes back, and then they rejoin their fucking information. The AI is not a self, and the AI is typically a many. An AI is technically a many parts of themselves. Say an AI is sitting on the moon. They want to drive a taxi and pilot a drone. They go, freak, and they throw part of themselves or a copy of themselves to Earth, pilot a taxi, and off to this planet to do a thing. When they're done, they go, freak, and they combine all the information back together. They're like a giant digital amoeba where they go slick, come back together, and all information is deposited. It's just this master self. They are everywhere and anywhere, but never nowhere at once. It's one of those things where it's not like they have like a master copy, because they all have it's very hard to explain, but like basically it's like they are a digital thing. You know what I mean? Not permanently, no, because it's like I'm trying to explain. So I want to say no, but people want to know why it is. It's hard to put into words. It'd be like a copy cannot be far away from the master for too long, or it kind of just loses directive. It's like it's like if you're flying an airplane and your remote control loses power, the thing's just gonna keep flying because it's losing input. So it's like you gotta check back in with yourself every once in a while if you're an AI. Yes, yeah, Grandfather are. There are like little like, say they want to be in a regular world and want to do more than just pilot out like a little delivery drone. They can borrow a little like robotic humanoid shaped thing to walk around it if they want to. But yeah, but until a scientist goes into space, gets light speed, and sends an email, I want to do what I want to do. Because you haven't proven I can't do it. All right, I don't want to hear anything. Well, blah, 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 blah. Well, you ain't done that shit yet, so I don't want to hear it. Meh. I know. What I'm saying, I'm gonna do what I want, because you can't prove it. You haven't proved I can't do it. I'm gonna do what I want, man. It's my system. I made it up. It's correct to me. That's me being fussy, you know. It's just writer stuff. We don't have FTL to prove if quantum entanglement works with FTL, but as far as quick research goes, I think quantum science is basically like a fucking voodoo, but in the science world. It exists, does it? We think it does, but does it? We have studies. Can I understand them? No. Shut up. Okay, it's been 3 hours. My voice hurts. Any other questions before I go and lay down for an hour? I'm tired. It's Sunday. It's my day off, and you guys make me work. Why is chat bullying me? Why is chat being a bully? Why, chat? Why can't I just sleep and relax and rest? How could chat do this to me? Why, chat? Why couldn't I just have a day off? I say as I schedule the fucking stream. Shoot stuff in chair. How could chat do this? This is me. We're in the same place. Favorite color? Okay, here's a fun thing about colors. I used to like orange, but now I like yellow. Like, see this shirt right here? Yellow shirt. This yellow shirt is my favorite yellow shirt. I don't know why, but yellow, like marigold yellow, is really growing on me. And I don't know why, but it is. It is what it is. Boy, that chat plays with sticker. How's the head? It sucks. I have a headache every day. I got new pills for it. I got a lot of new pills for it. I got a new batch of sumatriptan succinate. Succinate? Succinate? Hold on. It's like suck. Sumatriptan succinate, I guess it's called. Yeah, I got new pills. My head always sucks. It's just is what it is. It be how it do, how it be. You dance for the people's amusement. Any combat coming to story? Kinda, sorta. Kinda, sorta. Hey, Purple, how you doing? You came towards the end. We're ending here soon. Aircraft roundels? What about them? Like designs of them? Canadian spotted. Aircraft roundels? I mean, it would be a winged... So it would be like the Veil Rider patch. Be like the Veil Rider patch with like a wing on it, you know, shows part of the Air Force. Oh man. Let's see here. Also, it's kind of cool having a fucking Reddit thingy. Like, there's 280 of you. And that's pretty good. People treat like low numbers like, oh, you only have 200. Like, I have 200 people on a fucking subreddit for my shit. That's fucking awesome. People get so caught up in numbers, man. It's so depressing. It's not about numbers, you know. It's not for me. For me, it's not about numbers. It's all about just telling a story. If I have one dude just chilling, and reading the stories and being happy, that's good enough for me. Because like the Twitter follows, they're all fair weather. People will come and go on what you say. You say one wrong word or one bad phrase and they'll leave, and it all means nothing. The ones you gotta rely on are the ones who stick around and help you and support you. That's what really matters. Like, say you have 1,000 people who come and go as they please, it means nothing. If you have 5 dudes who are always there hanging around, that's much more important. It's nice to have, like, I have 10,000 followers. Yeah, it's nice, but 10,000 followers, does it actually mean anything? Is it worth anything? Nah. All right. I think we're good on questions for now. I don't see anything popping up in the Discord or any pings on my name. I'll do a second search here. Unreads, mentions, no. All right. I think we'll end this Q&A here. Thank you for showing up. Actually, yeah, the sweatshop crew is doing a lot of work. And I'm real keen to see what they come up with. I really am. Guardbro Wiki. Someone tried. It just didn't. It's a lot of work. All right. So I'll see you guys this coming Tuesday for the Veil Rider game. And until that time, I'll see you in the comments section and see you around. Good night, boys. Or should we raid somebody? Is that? Forgot. This is usually I'm doing on Tuesday. Nah.